This is how you know this generation is done. Piper Raquel, Bop House, Piper Raquel, just turned 18 years old. And what does she do? She starts an OF. And this OF allegedly makes $1 million in one day. Think I'm lying? Now, of course, if you know, you knew she was going to do this, which means people were waiting for her to do this. That makes me shake my head. She just turned 18. You made her a millionaire.
Can someone explain to me what the heck is going on with our food supply? Noticed some worms crawling around inside the container.
They running.
Look on the top of the container.
Oh,
look all around.
That's too much.
Look at them crawling out of the top of the container.
I can't believe my eyes right now, but it is genuinely happening. The internet is expecting a crazy secret episode to drop tomorrow.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web. That's gonna make us question everything. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Stay with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
It literally means control mind.
2025 will go down as the year where we all realized, oh, all these big corporations and the government hate the people that they say that they serve. They're not here to help us. They are here to take all of your money and assist in helping you lose all of your limbs and your teeth. You know, in Latin, the word government, right? The word govern in Latin is to restrict or control. And the word ment, M-E-N-T, is the Latin root for the word mind. So the word government in Latin literally is like restrict your mind or control your mind.
Stay weird.
It's the government.
Can someone explain to me what the heck is going on with our food supply? And why do I say that? Because a woman opened up a can of this Quaker Oats 1-minute quick oatmeal that she purchased at Walmart and noticed some worms crawling around inside the container. You heard what I said, worms crawling around inside the container. If you haven't seen the viral video, take a look at this. Look at this.
Nobody
Watch.
you from Walmart.
You can see them start popping out as she's watering it. Watch.
Oh, hell no.
Scoot up. They running.
Look on the top of the container.
right.
Look all around.
That's too much.
Oh.
Look at them crawling out of the top of the container.
Lawsuit. Get that bag.
No. This is both disgusting and disturbing at the same time. But who's to blame for this? Is it the store that sold it? Or is it the packaging company for Quaker Oats? Any way you slice it, if you have this in your home, open the container. Take a look inside. Make sure nothing is worming around, so to speak. As I said from the very beginning, it is very difficult to trust anything we purchase in the store these days. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
I got some Quaker Oats upstairs, bro. I'm gonna have to check that expeditiously, bro. Seekers, man. Check your oatmeal, bro.
Stillwater. We're talking about Stillwater yet again. Why is it red? No, like literally, why is it red? If you want worms to lay eggs in your brain, you want to jump in this. Please don't. That straight up looks like Godzilla's toilet. What is that grate in the floor? That looks like a wave pool thing where it has the bars. This is disgusting. Oh my, this is the worst Stillwater photo I think I've ever seen because of this grate. You already know I have a phobia of pool drains, so that just made it so much worse. Photos like this, I don't know why, they give me such a guttural, disgusted feeling. It's like a drop, like my heart feels like it's dropping. Abandoned places are absolutely fascinating, but when it comes to Stillwater, you want nothing to do with that place because you will die if you jump in there. Flooded abandoned places are like one of my biggest fears, and could you imagine being stuck down here, wading through Stillwater, knowing that you're probably going to die even if you get out of there anyway? This photo showing all the trash in it. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Some of them have fishes in them. I don't know how. These fish probably have superhuman strength and can lift a car from all of the chemicals that are in that water. Are you gutturally disgusted by abandoned places that are flooded also? Because I am, and I need to be validated, so please let me know.
After all these years, I'd never met the Olsen twins. He introduced me to them. I said to him, how do I tell them apart? He says, Ashley swallows.
Whoever this is needs to get her head examined. But isn't it strange how most of the jokes about the Olsen twins were directed at Ashley instead of Mary Kate? It's almost like they wanted to tell the world who Bob's favorite victim was. When they're done talking about Bob's sick obsession with the twins, they continue to joke about other children and women he targeted.
He's a sick bastard. He has 2 daughters in college and 3 girlfriends in high school. Bob Saget's girlfriend is so young, R. Kelly wouldn't pee on her. Most comics dream of performing in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bob Saget dreams of performing in Hannah, Montana.
I wonder why all of these comedians who were Bob Saget's closest friends all decided to joke about him preying on young children. It really makes you wonder what was actually going on behind the scenes. But the 6 stories about the Olsen twins didn't stop at the roast. There's a story Bob Saget told publicly more than once about rehearsing scenes with a doll used to represent the twins when they weren't physically on set.
Y'all, I'm starting to think that SpongeBob was created for the kids on Epstein Island. It's way too many coincidences that lead back to Epstein Island about not only just SpongeBob, but Nickelodeon. It's the fact that this exact address is literally Little St. James, the island. And y'all know whose island that is? It's Epstein's Island. But it gets a little bit weirder because even the Nickelodeon symbol is Epstein Island. But then you think about all the weird things that happens to the children in the industry, especially the Nickelodeon industry, you start to realize that all these things add up. This is literally Epstein Island from above. Does it not resemble the Nickelodeon sign? So they literally put these things in our faces and no one seems to bat an eye. It's like plain sight. Even when you think about the pizza episode, pizza, think about the word pizza. When you think about the pizza episode, pizza has been a key word for the PDFs in Hollywood for so long. Remember they looked inside and their faces and stuff like that, and they were fighting over it and stuff like that. I can't see how no one's picking this up. It's right there in our faces.
You ever heard of the story, the Epic of Gilgamesh? No. The story was written 2000 BC. The story talks about how he was 2/3 God and 1/3 man. And the claim was that he was 17 feet tall.
Oh man.
And he was this brutal king, like just tyrant. The story goes that he was buried under the Euphrates River.
That's drying up.
Well, here's the thing. In 2003, a archaeologist by the name of Jörg Fassbinder, he was in the Mesopotamia area and doing like the whole LiDAR thing. And what he said is, I have found the tomb of Gilgamesh.
Oh my gosh.
But it's underground, right? So they have to like dig it up.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happened 1 month later?
Oh man!
This is where it gets crazy.
Yeah.
All the archaeological sites were then stopped in Iraq, so stop digging, you're out of here. But the locals around this encampment, the U.S. encampment, reported that the U.S. military were digging at night, taking things out of the ground and putting them onto trucks and driving them off.
We're villains. This 34-year-old guy is now in charge of the wealthiest city on earth. Zohran Mamdani is not only the youngest mayor in 133 years, but also America's first ever that's Muslim. And now he's won the election in the city with the highest concentration of Jews outside of Israel. He even pledged to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu as a war criminal if he stepped foot in New York City, which he did less than a month ago before Mamdani became mayor. He says he's a democratic socialist, think Bernie Sanders and AOC. He essentially didn't exist politically only 12 months ago. He's a former rapper, was born in Uganda, and is almost the exact opposite to Donald Trump in terms of his policies. He wants to raise the minimum wage to $30. He wants to freeze rent prices. He wants to make buses in NYC NY-free. He wants to initiate universal childcare. But when asked how is he going to pay for all of that, he often refers to raising taxes on the richest people of New York by about 2% and also passing similar tax hikes for large corporations. Now, his critics say that this will trigger an exodus of business owners and millionaires out of NYC, only worsening the situation. And there might even be some evidence for that, because before the election took place, nearly 1 million New Yorkers indicated that they would flee the city if he was elected. So I guess we'll see now if they were bluffing or not. Donald Trump has previously called Mamdani a communist lunatic, that he looks terrible, that New York has zero chance chance of success or even survival now. And then once it was confirmed that he actually won, Trump posted simply saying, "And so it begins." The question is Mamdani gonna destroy New York, or is he exactly what they needed?
Trump just said Venezuela is prepared to transfer between 30 and 50 million gallons of oil to the United States. And not just any oil, sanctioned oil. So my question is, you went and kidnapped that man for their oil, right? I said it all along. But it goes a little deeper than that too, y'all. And the thing y'all don't understand is, it's not gonna stop there. Not with just Venezuela. It's so much at play right now. Just think about US, China, and Russia. But anyway, I'm not gonna talk too much about that. My whole thing is, since you taking oil from these dudes, is the gas prices gonna go down over her? Because if not, something wrong, fool. It's crazy, bruh. He went over there, took their president, his wife, taking their oil, taking their money, taking over Venezuela, and then maybe even a central bank is about to pop up.
I can't believe my eyes right now, but it is genuinely happening. You all know about the main thing, things changing, blah, blah, blah. And now the whole internet is expecting a crazy secret episode to drop tomorrow, January 7th. Now here's where it gets strange, because today this website appeared, which appears to have a clock that goes backwards and then has this countdown. Now, this probably is fan-made, but it does look very professional, like it could be real, and it's on an official website, but I highly doubt it. And even crazier again, credit to my boy Andrew for finding this. Stranger Things posted this, which basically, as you know, the clocks mean a lot in this program. The time is 1:07. Which people are just saying, there is no way this is a coincidence. This definitely means something's coming on the 7th. There was this whole thing with the books where it spells out X, a lie, and there's these Stranger Things lights that have been going viral. People have been buying them, which are official apparently. And if you scan the light in the box, it says Vecna lives. As I say, there are so many holes and things that it makes complete sense to do this. If something does come out, they will go down as probably some of the greatest writers in history, and this could be phenomenal. But I feel like the way they did end it and say goodbye, people that did like the ending would be very annoyed. It did wrap things up nicely, apart from all of this other stuff, so I can't imagine it coming back. If it doesn't, then the writing is that bad that even things like clocks and books are getting misplaced. Like, what is going on?
This is how you...
Is there a secret episode of Stranger Things coming out or not, bro? Like I said, people, the way Stranger Things ended, man, I don't think, like I said, it ended on a Game of Thrones note, but it didn't. But I guess, according to some people, it didn't hit, I guess, the heights it was really expected. So is this just the way people cope, man? More and more episodes if we can round up all the freaking loose plottings that they left in the show. I didn't even notice, bro. So apparently somebody made a whole list of like plot, things that never got resolved. And apparently there was a whole bunch of it. So is that why the secret episode is coming out, Stranger Things Conformity Gate? That's what they're calling it? Who knows?
No, this generation is done. Piper Raquel, Bob House, Piper Raquel, just turned 18 years old. And what does she do? She starts an OF. And this OF allegedly makes $1 million in one day. Think I'm lying? Now, of course, if you know, you knew she was going to do this, which means people were waiting for her to do this. And that's the shit right there that makes me shake my head. She just turned 18. You made her a millionaire, but you made her a millionaire because you're thirsty. Look at that shit right there. Now, what does this say for you? It says that as soon as you turn 18, people will be waiting for you to have one of the same things that Piper has. And you too can be a millionaire. You see where I'm going with this shit? This culture is different, man. Very different. But the story continues. So apparently, Piper lied about cracking $1 million in 1 hour. He posted a screenshot and it wasn't photoshopped the right way. And then she posted a video crying. Just breathe, Piper. Just breathe. Reality of the situation is, even if she didn't make $1 million, she made something. And with that crying episode, she's gonna make a little bit more. Come on.
Don't y'all find it amazing how the Most High left his signature on us and how we are a direct reflection of nature? How every part of us can be found inside of nature. How our lungs look like the tree. Ironically, we breathe in what they exhale and they exhale what we breathe in. Or how rivers look like our natural nerve system. And as we enter the technology age, never forget that we are nature. And nature is us. That's the way that the Most High created us and left his signature on us. That's how the Most High identifies his creation, with his signature. But y'all let me know in the comment section on what y'all think about us being direct reflections of nature.
What is this? Why are all these birds in the same place?
Weird.
What is going on out here, guys? Shh. What does this mean?
Frequency, bro.
Hundreds of them. Wow. Come on. What's that? What is going on in the sky, guys? Shh. Can anybody explain what's going on in the sky? Hundreds of birds all in the same place. Right? The other video, unidentified objects in the sky, circling in the same place. Now, if you ask me, I don't know what's going on, but people are saying that the Matrix is failing. Stop playing with me, son. This video is the same person. I don't know what the hell is going on in the sky because I'm on ground. Can't believe everything you see, guys, because that could be AI. Remember, that's exactly why they made those two letters. So you can think that when you see stuff like that, come on, bro, somebody did that on the app. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game like that. You see what's going on in these streets. But I tell you one thing, if I'm outside and I see any of that, I'm gonna just go in the crib, straight up.
Me too.
See what happened with Jake Paul and Joshua? Yes. You heard the dark theory? Yeah. People are saying that he was targeted to be assassinated. Yes, man. Why? Because he didn't follow the script on the Jake Paul fight. Think about it, bro. All these people already think the Jake Paul fight is rigged. If you watch closely in all the Jake Paul fights, he does a signal with his tongue. That is the warning that he's going too much off script to chill out. So see how he does that tongue thing? He wiggles his tongue because he wants him to chill out. Mike Tyson hit him hard, and then right away he puts his tongue out, right? Look what happens here. He puts his tongue out, mocking him because he's gonna go off script. And right after he does that, what happens? He gets his jaw broke. These big billionaires and millionaires that put money onto the fight, what if they put hundreds of millions of dollars into this, bro? Yes, and then what they wanted to do was take out Anthony Joshua for not sticking to the script, bro. And what just happened? Anthony Joshua was in a car accident, and two of his best friends died.
Yeah, to be honest, it might be a warning because when they send off hits, they're probably not going to get the guy right away. They have to seem like it's an accident.
I think straight up, they were just trying to kill him. He just happened to survive. I think he was supposed to die there. Word? Yeah.
So The Economist just dropped a new magazine cover for the year 2026, Fire Horse year that we just entered, and they're calling it The World Ahead 2026. Let's see what they are telling us. First of all, I want y'all to notice that the cover is black, like pitch black. Kind of like a, Great Reset type of black, like the Great Reset that they've been putting in these movies type of black. And then when you look at the centerpiece, you notice an eye, but not a human eye, an AI eye, with circuitry looking like neural pathways connected to these different sectors that really run our reality. And when y'all look in the center of the eye, it looks like there's a spark, right? An ignition, a switch, something is being turned on. Is AI about to start connecting with these things? Look at the things that's around the eye. You got a gas mask, and right next to the gas mask, you got the Bitcoin symbol. Is AI going to be controlling biochemical warfare, Bitcoin? You got two political figures down here arguing, it looks like, about money. You got a broken chart. You got soccer once again. You got satellites potentially falling out of the sky. A nuclear mushroom cloud, comets coming down. Something's going on with the water, probably agriculture dying up. Maybe human genetics being altered in some type of way that has to do with AI. So are they telling us that AI is about to spark a new world, right? And watch everything go down like some type of Minority Report type shit, like some type of movie? I've been telling y'all, our life is literally a movie, and they're telling us what's about to happen. What do you guys think they're telling us? Why would they
change the cover like that? They're letting us know something is going on. Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shift is here. Y'all see it. They're telling us.
This is the scary story about the lunch lady. There was a lunch lady named Judy, and everybody in school loved her. But they loved her food even more. Every single day, they would rush to the lunchroom just to eat her delicious food. But one day, a boy in 7th grade noticed something strange. In the back of the kitchen, he saw a mysterious door he'd never seen before. And he's been buying lunch for a year straight. He then went to the principal's office and told him what he saw. The principal then made his way down to the lunchroom and asked Judy about the door. She played dumb for a little bit, but eventually showed him. And what he saw inside made him freeze in horror. Inside were multiple children's dead bodies, completely cut up and strung up on the wall. Judy then looked at the principal with a smile on her face and said, "How do you think my food tastes so good? This is the reason why." Judy was arrested and fired, and is now serving 105 years in prison. But the crazy part is, how did this school allow a lunch lady to kill students and then sell their meat as lunch food?
Here are some of the
Stay away
most
from school
shocking
lunch.
deathbed confessions ever that'll send shivers down your spine. In 1987, a woman named Alice Mock was on her deathbed when she confessed something to her neighbor that was truly messed up. Back in 1975, Alice accused a black man named Wayman Camille Jr. of breaking into her apartment, robbing her, and Alice told this to police. Camille was arrested and sentenced to 15 years in prison, even though there was no evidence against him. But when Alice was on her deathbed, she admitted that she had actually invited Camille into her apartment and actually robbed him when he was sleeping. And she only made up this lie because she feared she would get evicted if her landlord learned she had invited a black man into her apartment. And she also didn't want Camille to know that she had taken money from him. After Alice's confession, Camille was finally released after being wrongfully imprisoned for 12 years.
Here is today's
You need that
disturbing
want
fact.
money.
Studies suggest your brain doesn't necessarily stop all of its activity the moment you are clinically dead, as was the case with one patient where up to 30 minutes of brain activity was recorded after death.
30?
You might literally hear yourself declared dead.
That's scary to think about, Seekers, man. Imagine you just laying on a hospital bed, bro, and you just noticing everything around you, but you can't even do nothing. You can't even move. Man, we've heard, well, it's these clips we've seen together, man. We heard some bizarre stories about like how people, when they, when they go on and they pass away, they can still hear things around them. They're still aware because their brain, like I said, it still has the activity. But 30 minutes, that has to be a record, right?
Crazy things happening in the world right now that you probably didn't know about. There were computers in ancient Greece. Archaeologists just found a computer that's over 2,000 years old, which makes you wonder what else they had back in the day that we don't even know about. Next, a mysterious neurological illness was found in Canada, and it's been affecting a growing number of young people. The symptoms include rapid weight loss, insomnia, hallucinations, and difficulty thinking. Also, scientists in Japan created the first ever robot tail. It's made to help people with balance issues as it changes your center of gravity. But that's not all, because China created an artificial sun, and it's 5 times hotter than the real sun. It's said that this nuclear fusion reactor could be the next step towards limitless clean energy. Follow for more.
Are some of the worst things ever found on the dark web, part 1. This is why you should never send nudes. This is the story of Pink Meth. Despite the name, the website Pink Meth had nothing to do with drugs. Pink Meth was a market mainly for men where they would sell nude photos of their exes for a hefty amount of money. But that's not all. Pink Meth would then post these photos alongside the women's names, home addresses, phone numbers, and any other information the operators could dig up. Then a ransom on the content was delivered to the victim. They would tell all the females, pay up to have the photo removed or let the whole of the dark web have access to your personal information, including your nude photos. So never, ever send nudes. Pretty cool.
I didn't need that to tell me. Now I would never do that. That ain't
Sad
me.
things you never noticed in Spider-Man No Way Home. In this scene, Tom's Peter doesn't mention Osborn's cure and puts it to the side. Because he doesn't want to cure him. He wants to kill him for what he did to Aunt May. When he slams it on the table, Toby immediately notices and says this.
Gotta cure all of them. Right?
do. You can see the conflict in Tom in this scene, and this is when Toby realized he had to keep an eye on Tom whenever Osborn showed up.
Whoa, I didn't even notice that, and I saw the movie.
Crazy
Small
mind-blowing
details.
facts you should know about. Overprotective parents raise the best liars. 91% of people aren't friends with people they once called their best friends. Crying is how your body responds when your mouth can't explain the pain you're feeling. Your mind can sense someone staring at you even when you're asleep. When a person dies, they have 7 minutes of brain activity left. It's the mind playing all the memories of the person in dream sequence. Listening to sad songs actually creates positive emotions. Every 10 years you become a new person. Our desires and needs changes every 10 years. You will rarely die in your dreams. If you do, then you have started something new in life. Trouble sleeping at night for no reason. It's because you're actually alive in someone else's dream.
Life flash before your eyes. Maybe that's where the brain activity
Weird
comes
ass
from.
facts that I know for some reason. Most Koreans have a genetic mutation called ABCC11, which makes their sweat odorless. If you ate a polar bear's liver, you would literally die because there's way too much vitamin A for a human to handle. If you ever find yourself seeing an anteater doing this silly T-pose, get the fuck away, because that is their way of warning you that they're about to claw your eyes out. On average, around 2,195 children die from diarrhea every single day. That is more than AIDS, measles, and malaria combined. Around 95% of whale semen is dumped into the ocean during mating season. You actually have a lot more in common with gorillas than you think. For instance, the average length of a gorilla's schlong is 2 inches.
He just try to cook everybody, bro.
This guy
We ain't going
is
out like
shattering
that, man.
glass everywhere, and at first you may think he's doing it because he hasn't gotten paid, but he's actually about to make epoxy floors made with broken glass. So he needs to make sure the glass is broken down properly before starting the process. If you want to see the result, subscribe.
Here are the most unusual facts about our human bodies. Just like your vision is filtering out your nose right now, your brain also blocks the feeling of your organs shifting inside of you. Now, if you're ever feeling lonely, you should know that our bodies carry 2 to 5 pounds of built-in company like mites, fungus, and bacteria. No matter how hard you try, you can only use about 60% of your full strength. And this actually protects you, because if you could use 100%, you'd end up tearing your own muscles or breaking your own bones. So if someone lifts a car or shows superhuman strength in a dire situation, it's their brain overriding this rule for survival. Follow from
Illegal things you should never do in different countries, part 3. Russia, owning lacy underwear. China, reincarnating without government permission. Bolivia, La Paz, women having a second glass of wine. Jamaica, wearing any kind of camouflage. Malawi, farting in public. Videos that seem innocent but have
Crazy
a terrifying
laws.
backstory, part 4. This video shows comic magician Tommy Cooper having a heart attack on live TV. His audience, along with the assistant, thought it was all part of the show, so they laughed along while he died on stage. This video shows a Russian influencer's birthday party where she decided to throw dry ice into her swimming pool for the visual effect. Sadly, 3 people died due to carbon dioxide poisoning. The following video is what happens when you take 2 AI cleverbots and hook them up to one another to have a conversation. It's funny at first, but it soon becomes quite disturbing.
How are you?
Great, you.
I'm okay.
That's good.
Are you good?
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
So you're Christian?
No, I am not.
But you say you were not helpful, therefore you're a meaning.
Are you say naughty?
That does not make sense.
Don't you want to have a body?
What the hell? Don't connect those AIs. They're getting too smart.
Interesting facts you didn't know.
Crazy.
The last one will shock you. In the 90s, we were taught to use plastic instead of paper to save the rainforest from deforestation. Now we use paper instead of plastic to save the ocean from pollution. Every time you blink, someone dies. Now you can check if your phone activity is being monitored. Just click on Share. Slide to the side, then select More. If any unknown app appears before your contacts, you should delete it immediately. When you are exhausted and go to bed, your body shuts down faster than usual. That jerk that your body makes is a signal from your brain to make sure you are not dying. There is no single comment under this video with 0 likes. This is Venus 700 million years ago. It's believed to have been exactly like the Earth. Pet food companies have well-paid people on their staff to taste test their products. If you comment, hee, you will unlock this awesome new secret TikTok emoji. Future history books will have screenshots of important tweets and posts in them. If you like and follow me, you will know facts most people don't. Blue whale isn't only the largest animal in the world currently, it's also the largest animal that has ever lived in the history of the Earth, including all dinosaurs.
Really? You believe that? Giants in the world? Well, those could just be edits. I don't know about that one, Seekers. What do you think?
This incestuous family took the lives of over 1,000 people. This is the true story of Wrong Turn. In the 16th century, a man named Sawney Bean decided to run away with his girlfriend to the shores of Galloway County in Scotland, where he began living in a cave, surviving by stealing food and belongings from passing tourists. Sawney Bean and his wife had children with whom they committed incest. This family began to grow, as they all had relationships with each other. Sawney Bean's clan grew to 48 people, and what they stole was no longer enough to eat. The Bean family began to take the lives of people who passed near their cave, and then eat them. For 25 years, this family survived doing this savage activity, until one day a couple was attacked by the Bean family, but the man managed to defend himself with a gun, but his wife did not survive. The man had discovered the cave of the Bean clan, so he decided to report it to the authorities. After that, the soldiers of the King of Scotland went to the cave where they captured the whole family, and then they were condemned to be burned at the stake.
Most powerful things in the world. Most powerful countries, United States and China. Most powerful passport, Japanese. Most powerful person, Xi Jinping. Most powerful car, Koenigsegg Agera. Most powerful company, Apple Inc. A man woke up and
I believe that.
Late one night, a man by the name Charlie from Jalisco, Mexico, woke up to strange sounds coming from the front of his house.
Sounds like a horse galloping.
Something galloping can be heard getting closer. But as the man patiently waits for it to pass by, nothing's there. Charlie believes that what he captured that night was the manifestation of El Charro Negro, a horseman entity of Mexican tale, who's believed to wander the night in search of an unsuspecting victim in order to offer a malicious deal. After watching the clip, I'm not sure whether to be scared by the window opening or by the entity.
Do you notice something kind of off about this mannequin? For anyone who's familiar with the legend, she is known as La Pascualita. The mannequin has stood in the window of a Mexican bridal shop for more than 90 years, but when she was first placed there, patrons noticed something kind of strange. The detail work on this mannequin was unusual. She was noted with eyebrow hair, veins, and even discoloration around her mouth and ears. But that suspicion soon grew to horror as patrons started to notice that she bore a striking resemblance to the owner's deceased daughter, Pascuala. Pascuala was actually said to be married herself, but ended up dying in a tragedy before her wedding day. Shortly after her death, the mannequin appeared in the window and the legend was born that these were the preserved remains of the owner's daughter. But the most compelling evidence has always been the hands. The hands are shown with wrinkles, they have veins, they even have lifelike fingernails, which is unlike any mannequin I have ever seen. The question remains to this day, could this really be the shop owner's daughter?
So many similarities, man. They were drawn to the body, so
Creepiest urban legend from each country. Philippines. White Lady of Balit Drive. Puerto Rico. Chupacabra.
I'm about to share with you the most haunted gravesite of all time.
Talk about
That's
it.
the grave of a woman named Charlotte M. Sitton. Apparently back in the day, this woman lost both of her children to an epidemic. Being so distraught over her loss, she took her own life to be with her children again. She ended up hanging herself by her children's old school. But ever since her death, her soul has been restless. It hasn't been able to find peace. So to this day, she still haunts her gravesite. It's believed that every Friday evening from 10 to 11:30 p.m. you can see Charlotte at her grave. A number of locals have actually seen her just walking back and forth by her grave. She also likes to visit her children's graves and has been seen there holding flowers and weeping over them. Are you brave enough to visit this gravesite? Let me know in the comments below.
Nah, not me. That's too much dark energy for me. I'll stay away from that. Could you guys do it, Seekers? Brave your souls for people who do.
Today we're looking at one of the most extreme tribal rituals, part 4. Let's get it started. The Agori tribe are a part of a Hindu sect believed to be 1,000 years old. They're known as sadhu, and they live their entire life towards enlightenment in a very radical way. They're known for living in caves and cremation burial grounds, and their practices are some of the most taboo in the Hindu religion. One of their most famous practices is cannibalism. Now, they don't kill people, but they eat the flesh of the dead, believing that it speeds up spiritual enlightenment. The Agori smear the ashes of dead people on their body to imitate their god Shiva, and they believe that the life force of the deceased lives in the top of their skull. So they will drink alcohol and even their own urine from the skull. They believe this is how they gain power over the spirit. Here's a picture of a famous Agori wearing a necklace made out of human teeth and gums. The Agori have a reputation of being very feared but also respected.
That looks like that guy, you know, who there was this interview that was going around. Oh, yeah, I think somebody... It was like on Twitter, some guy interviewing, I think somebody from that tribe, if I'm not mistaken. I was trying to, like, warn him to stop asking questions because he was going to try to eat him or something like that. I'm about to try to find it for you guys.
Did you know that the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt actually has Chucky's eyes? The dolls were made by the same person, and when HBO started running out of money to make the show, they needed him to just start using parts he had lying around. So the doll's actually made with a lot of the animatronics that Chucky used and his eyes. Now you know.
Fun fact, if you've ever gone into work and thought, wow, my boss is a complete idiot, you're probably right, and that can be explained with the Peter Principle. The Peter Principle was developed by Dr. Lawrence Peter and states that an employee in a company will be promoted until they reach their level of incompetence, and then they won't be promoted anymore, meaning everyone in the management chain is incompetent. If we use a retail store as an example, a good floor employee will be promoted to supervisor. If they're a good supervisor, they'll be promoted to manager. But if they lack the skills to be a good manager, they will not be promoted to district manager, meaning they're incompetent. Between 2005 and 2011, a study was conducted that looked at 53,000 employees across 214 American sales companies, and during that time, 1,500 sales reps were promoted to sales managers. And the Peter Principle was found to be true. Many of the sales reps who were promoted were bad managers, because they were promoted based on the fact that they were top-performing salespeople, not because they displayed the skills necessary to be strong leaders and effective managers.
Creepy last words people said right
Wrong
before
choices.
dying. Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student who remembered his Greek mythology said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one two-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker, the angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
Good things happening in the world right now. A 17-year-old girl just broke her brother's record of becoming California's youngest lawyer. Waymo's autonomous cars have driven over 50 million miles of the United States now and have crashed only 60 times. Human drivers will crash around 600 to 700 times over 50 million miles driven. This means Waymo is crashing 10 times less than humans so far. A Bulgarian man who went missing in 2008 and was pronounced dead in 2013 was just found last month in a national park. A man found his dog giving a baby koala a piggyback ride, and no, it wasn't AI this time. A high school in Maine introduced detention hikes instead of just being isolated in a classroom. This is a photo of a drought-free California, and as a person who was born there, I'm very happy to see that. A British nonprofit removed 300,000 landmines in Sri Lanka, allowing almost 300,000 people to return to their original homes. A man in his 30s with advanced ALS and is completely paralyzed was able to communicate for the first time in months. Using a new brain implant, he was able to communicate about one character a minute with his first message, "I want a beer." He also asked to listen to the band Tool very loudly. He wanted a head massage from his mother, and he ordered curry.
Have you ever wondered why the beaches are closed at night? Is it because there's no lifeguards? Or is it because of what's lurking in the ocean? A guy decided to test fate and go to the beach in Key Largo, Florida at night. He got to Key Largo, got to the beach, and found something that scared the living hell out of him. He recorded a siren sitting on a rock. You heard me, a siren sitting on a rock. As a matter of fact, take a look at this video. To the left of the pole, sitting right there. Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now.
Dude, what is that? I've gone ahead and froze it and enlarged it as best I could. But that is the figure of a siren sitting on a rock. Very similar to this image right here, looking directly at the ocean. I've gone ahead and pulled up what a siren is for you, for those of you that don't know. Described as a dangerous, alluring creature who lured sailors to their deaths with enchanting voices. So my question to you is, does that look like a siren to you? What do you think that is? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Our reality is purposely being altered, and here's proof.
This is the most insane example of how everyone is experiencing completely different social medias at the exact same time.
Watch this. Watch the full video. We are living in alternate realities. It's insane. It's like the Matrix, and it's happening now.
This video, my boyfriend said he'd be over by 3 after golfing, and it's just her every half an hour taking a video saying, "Oh, he's still not here," and it gets to 5 or 6 p.m. and he's still not here. Okay. I opened the comments of this video, and kind of as I expected, everyone was saying, "Oh, that's really rude. It's a disregard of her time. I don't like him. Did he communicate with you? If not, then that's a red flag." Okay. Fair enough. I sent this video to my boyfriend who was sat next to me. And then I said to my boyfriend, "Lol, look at the comments." Bear in in mind, these comments were coming up at the top of the list. So as soon as you open the comments, these are the ones that come up for me. Tell me fucking why my boyfriend opens the comments on his phone.
It's a whole different
And again, it's the first list of comments that come up. It's the same time on the same video. Or you can get your own hobby instead of waiting around for him. Like, God forbid he has a good time. You know, before 3 a.m. he's ahead of schedule. No fucking wonder we're all so divided.
They are doing this deliberately. I don't know if it's on like a male or female basis or just an individualistic basis, but they are doing this on purpose. They want us to fight. They want us to disagree because that takes away the attention from what they're really doing. Stay weird.
The elites had their summer homes in Jekyll Island, including the Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, the Morgans.
This reminds me, if I can, talk about the place we got married.
Yeah.
It's like a hidden gem, the place that we got married, the venue called the Sidoni Mansion. It was built at the turn of the century by a dude who was buddies with all of those guys you just mentioned. And he went on a hunting trip. He was hunting on this land that he ultimately ended up purchasing and building the Sidoni Mansion, which was originally a hunting lodge, but then just turned into their Christmas home. What's so strange about it is that they had this huge wealth, and he also had 5 children. That kind of money and that many children at the turn of the century, you would have like hundreds of descendants today, but they have 3 living relatives. All the wealth is mysteriously gone. Every single family member, apart from 1 daughter, died in that house.
And they only went there for Christmas.
They were only there for Christmas.
There's something hidden there. That's scary.
I don't like that.
It makes you think, because it's like, so like...
If only y'all knew what they put in the most expensive perfumes and colognes. For example, Baccarat Rouge. Or a lot of the perfumes, which is the female side of the collections. If only y'all knew what they put in these things to make them not only just last a lot longer, but attract other people. Y'all might think, well, it's just really great pheromones and all. No, actually, they put in, let's just say allegedly, right? Because you're not going to find an article saying that, hey guys, we put this in here, obviously, right? But a lot of these perfumes and colognes, you got to be careful, have witchcraft in them. And a lot of the witchcraft that they put in these colognes and perfumes is a drop of blood. And a lot of the times, those drops of blood come from things like babies or like things that are sacrificed, or even demon blood. And so you might think, oh, you're just capping, you're just talking. Source, trust me, bro. Why do y'all think the most expensive colognes are, one, more expensive? Y'all might say, well, it's because of the brand. What do these brands practice? Think of Balenciaga, think of Versace. Think about who they worship and what they practice and the things that they do.
Okay.
Y'all don't think that they put that also in their colognes and perfumes? Think about it. Really think about it. Now, I'll leave y'all with this caveat right here, okay? Think about what they put on these bottles and the gauze that they put on these bottles. Like Versace, the gauze they put on a Versace bottle. Think about these, and I'm not saying that I think it's the most expensive perfumes and colognes. The ones that have a lot, the ones that are a lot older and have, the ones that are a lot older and they made back in the day and things like that. Those are the ones you gotta watch out for.
Right, so you guys think that's why perfume costs so much? That they put some extra in it and the general public has no idea? That's a theory. I have to go down that rabbit hole. I thought it was because it was so expensive because I guess because the name brands, all the big brands, if they're just a big name, they're just gonna hike up the price, or because of how it's made.
CIA dropped documents saying that we're living inside a hologram. Not maybe, not theoretically. No, your entire life is basically a rendered environment, and your brain is the controller. Let's talk about it. So the doc is called the Gateway Experience. And inside of it, the CIA literally says reality is a projection. You ain't hear what I said, right? Not physical, not solid, a self-generated simulation your conscious is plugged into. Like a cosmic VR headset you didn't consent to wearing. According to them, matter isn't even matter. It's just vibrations organized by your brain to make this shit look real. Crazy shit. They say you could break the simulation by syncing both sides of your brain. Something called hemisync. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Informational purposes only. Educational purposes only. 2 different tones in each ear between 3 and 7 hertz. And suddenly your brain clicks into a higher operating system. And once you're in that state, the CIA claim you could do some crazy shit. Leave your body, remote view locations, manipulate your reality field, access information outside of time. Basically some superhuman shit. This is what they're saying. The CIA also goes as far as saying the universe is a giant holographic projection coming from a source that we can't see. Your body is the avatar. Your conscience is the player. And the game responds to your level of awareness. You heard what I just said? They tried to bury this shit. For years, these documents were classified. Let Google be your best friend. Jump down that rabbit hole. I'm out.
So Kai Cenat is Diddy's son. Because at this point, that's what everybody is saying. Every chance they get. So they had the Streamer Awards tonight, and the person who was hosting it decided it would be funny to say that Kai was on a 50 Cent documentary about P. Diddy. They said, that was you on the show, right? And not only that, she tried to play with his Streamer University too, saying it was the most uneducated university ever. Look at this shit.
Haircut and the least educational university. So congratulations to you. Oh, and also, congrats on your new documentary with 50 Cent. That was you, right?
So on a bigger stage, she decided to make those comments, knowing everybody is watching it and knowing how everybody feel about the Kai and Diddy shit. He better than me because I would have been like, oh, let me see that mic real quick. I'd have definitely told her about herself, and I don't even know who Shorty is. But he ain't tripping too much because you see he racked up his awards. But I don't know, y'all. At this point, this man might as well go get a DNA test or show your real pop.
The McDonald. Nah, Kai Diddy jokes, bro. I know, man. He's probably just getting tired of it, bro. It's like, it's old now, man. People keep saying that all the time. You know, when a joke just keep getting repeated, it's like, wrap it up, bro. Like, come on, it's over, man. That's actually crazy. And it was at the Streamer Awards too, bro. I don't really see. I really don't see how people say he's speaking. He looks like Diddy. I don't see it. Maybe I'm just on the outside looking in, but because I'm not on that level. But like, I wonder how that affects Kai, because you know Diddy did he did some crazy stuff, and people keep saying he looks like him. Like, you know, that I don't know how that affects Kai, bro. So speaking popular streamer, I'm Dante was talking about it on the stream yesterday, just saying how, like, you know, people, they just, you know, they saying it's a joke or telling Kai, you know, it's just a joke or something like that, but you don't know how Kai's taking it, so it couldn't be, it might not be a joke to him, like that could really be affecting him, bro. So I don't know. Just tell me down below what you guys think, man.
Monopoly game? Oh, that you like rip off? Yeah, did you know there was an actual gang that set up to heist the winnings? Wait, someone actually, they got away with like 125 mil, something like that. Yeah, there's someone on the inside. You know how they make the McDonald's like, oh, you have to collect boardwalk? They were doing it over a span of certain years. What ended up happening was somebody that was the head of like this computer that generates the little Monopoly thing. Obviously, it's gonna be used, put into products or whatever. This guy was in charge of that. Why didn't he just give his numbers to his friends? That's what he ended up doing. Oh, okay. What's crazy though is they had it on lock because they would have an auditor watch exactly where the secret envelope with all the winning stuff are. Yo, even on the airplane, because there's this one time he wanted to go to the bathroom, whatever, and then he hid different ones and replaced them. Yeah. And then just gave like the actual envelope with the fake ones.
Oh, the Penguin Zero situation is insane.
From starting this channel in 2007 all the way until today, I have made $1 million.
So a few days ago, Charlie made a video titled, I'm Turning It Up. And what he was referring to was his donations. He basically said he has enough money and it doesn't sit right with him that normal people grinding at a 9-to-5 come home and they give him money when...
Streaming is the easiest job there is. There is no top streamer that needs your financial support to put food on the table or continue providing those streams.
So people were kind of taken back, saying, this is so based of Charlie, I'm going to donate my money to him. You'll never turn us off. People being mad they can't give a rich person money is the most first world country problem I've ever heard. He then has to make a video a few days later titled, I'm not turning it back on. And he literally shows everyone exactly how much money he's made on YouTube and Twitch to explain why he doesn't need any more donations. From 2021 to 2025, he made $4.1 million on Twitch, and that's just a side hustle. And then on YouTube, his lifetime earnings is nearly $36 million.
36 M's, bro, off YouTube. That's insane, bro. My man Charlie, he's doing it big, bro. Everybody need to get like Charlie, man. Do y'all know how insane that number is, bro? I gotta underline this, bro. That's damn near 36 M's, bro. Just off YouTube, man. Woo.
And what's crazier is that if you actually look at the chart, yeah, he created his account in, 2007, but he didn't really start earning proper money until 2019-ish. So the vast majority of that 35 million was made in just 6 years. And then he hit us with...
And keep in mind, these numbers here, those don't even include brand deals or sponsorships. I never even imagined that amount of money was possible to earn without just being born rich.
And a lot of the comments were, this might be the rarest thing of all time. Someone who is rich actually saying, stop giving me money, I already have plenty. But he also said that doing this has caused some pushback amongst other streamers, saying that it sets a bad precedent and shames other streamers for leaving their donations on. The question is, what do you guys think about this?
Celebrities are saying 6'7" out loud because they don't know what it means and they think they'll get canceled, and it's so funny watching them struggle. So here's how they responded when people said it to them, how Ariana responded was so funny, and here's what it really means if you also don't know. So the Gen Alpha 6'7" trend has taken over the whole world, from celebrities doing it everywhere to South Park making a whole episode about it. Half of the celebrities in the world are embracing it, the other half are afraid to say it. So here's exactly what it means. It means nothing. It's just a thing Gen Alpha says to be silly and like rile each other up to get loud. It's like Harlem Shake-esque randomness. It's not inappropriate, it's not filthy. But Sydney Sweeney was deathly afraid and refusing to say it while playing a game with Jimmy Fallon. And in this game, Jimmy Fallon had to describe what was going on behind her, and it was 3 Labubus doing the 6'7" in a McDonald's drive-thru. And after saying that sentence, I think civilization is gonna end soon. And even though she knew exactly what he meant, she was acting like it would trigger an explosive device in her neck that would blow up her head if she said it.
3 Labubus are going through a drive-thru McDonald's?
Yes, but they're also doing a TikTok trend involving numbers.
Oh, I can't say that.
No, you can say, no, subtract 2, I think, from what you're saying.
No, I can't say that because that's the trend.
It's not 68.
I know it's 67.
Yes!
Ariana Grande was also saying she's scared of 6'7" because she doesn't know what it means. So in her Actors on Actors interview, when Adam Sandler said it very casually, this was a look on her face. Like, it triggered a look of concern. And so since people were clowning her response and being like, why is she scared of it? She said, well, that's not really what she was reacting to. I don't know what this means. I'm scared. What is 6'7"? Actually, I don't want to know. Please, love you all, enjoy. But if you're also scared and confused, you're allowed to say it. I promise you.
A man pointed a gun at her. She was shoved into a car, driven away, and tied tightly to a chair. Then she overheard a phone call where her husband told the men to kill her. But they decided not to, and secretly freed her instead while still collecting their money. Returning home days later, she watched as her family left her house mourning her death. Then she surprised her husband, who thought she was dead. Immediately, he begged for forgiveness, but police recorded his confession, and now he's serving years in prison.
Caught him a
Ventura just entered the UAP chat, so check out what Surfline posted on their IG feed. This is Surfers Point in Ventura, California, and the footage is from Thursday, December 4th at 4:30 a.m. And something was captured that was definitely unexpected. So this is a tower-mounted surf cam designed for, web streaming and capturing long exposures over the ocean. And, don't forget, there's a long-running belief that the waters off Southern California, especially the deep water shelf between Catalina Island and the Ventura coastline, are a UAP hotspot. I mean, you've had military pilots, boat crews, and radar operators all reported strange activity out there over the years. So, who knows? And Surfline themselves posted this with the caption, video produced by Surfline.com, which means that, they obviously thought it was interesting enough to share themselves.
Was that an edit? Or was that legit? Because those look like some UFOs to me.
So, what are we looking at here? Drones? Reflections? Some kind of atmospheric phenomenon? Or was something else cruising the Ventura coastline? It's a fun one. Chime in with your guess below.
What do you think?
So I was in my car, I was cruising, I was trying to upload a video. For some reason I was having problems uploading the video. I just couldn't get into 5G.
So I started driving for a minute, just trying to look for a tower, and I just couldn't find a tower no matter what I did in this neighborhood. So eventually I saw these guys walking by, and I said, yo, y'all get service around here? And they was like, nah, we don't get no service. I said, why not? He said, the rich people in this area, they made it so that they couldn't put up 5G towers. I said, what? He said, yeah, they're opposed to 5G towers. They don't want the 5G towers around here. They feel like it messes with their, messes with the energy, it messes with the aesthetics, and it messes with their property value. I was like, what? So yeah, man, rich people is out here in specific towns just saying, yo, we don't want 5G towers over here because they fuck up all kinds of shit. Meanwhile, they put these motherfuckers everywhere. Yeah.
Wow.
Affluent communities oppose installation of 5G towers. Talking about aesthetic concerns and the scenic, the historic districts, and so on and so forth. Then the home world, they're worried about the negative impact on their property value. Meanwhile, they'll just put these motherfuckers up in everybody else's neighborhood. And I thought y'all just want to know that because they just put these things all over the place, put ugly costumes on them, and just put them just about anywhere. But when the mind's blind, the eyes can't see. These are all evil. All.
What do they know that we don't? They don't want them in the rich people's neighborhood, but they in our neighborhoods. So something has to be going on, bro. Do you know how much pull you have to not let those towers go up, bro? 5G, that's big money. I wonder if there's one where I'm at. Has to be. I got good service. I don't know how I feel about that.
They are telling us right in our face what they are doing to us, because what in the hell is radiation fog? I've been on this earth for 30 plus some years and I have never heard of this in my life. A mysterious 400-mile stretch of radiation fog blankets the state of California? But here's the thing, y'all. It wasn't just California. A whole bunch of people have stated that they woke up to fog in the morning too, and they were experiencing headaches, nausea, sinus problems. Their animals were acting up, and now we know the exact reason why. Now they're saying 20 different counties have reported this heavy dense fog sitting over California, and it's affecting 2 to 13 million people. Million people, y'all? See, that's exactly what I've been saying, man. Fog is not common in Florida, especially in South Florida, bro. And now they are telling us what they are doing to us. As soon as I said that, I get a sharp ringing in my left ear. Oh my God, the shift is here.
A 640-kilometer area in California is under the cover of a thick fog that can create respiratory problems and also cause asthma. Nearly 13 million people are under travel warnings, with officials issuing air quality alerts as the dense, low-lying fog can prove hazardous. Being called the radiation fog, 20 counties in California's Central Valley are affected. It forms when the ground cools rapidly after sunset, releasing heat back into the air. Experts say this fog can capture pollutants released from cars and factories, severely impacting air quality. Breathing in these particles that remain suspended in this radiation fog can cause health issues. The National Weather Service is also urging people to remain vigilant while driving, calling the fog a high transportation risk. The phenomenon, also named Thule fog, starts around November and peaks from December through February and ends by March. It happens every year in the late fall and winter months, affecting California's Bay Area, Sacramento Valley, and San Joaquin Valley. More than 2 million people are hit in Sacramento, Fresno, Bakersfield, Oakland, and Stockton, the most affected cities, according to the Daily Mail.
This poor girl was essayed by her father for 12 years, had 3 children with him, all while her grandparents knew. This all happened in West Virginia. Alexandra Thomas was only 9 years old when her father, Kenneth Cook, began essaying her. She gave birth to her first child at 16, her second child at 18, and her third child at 20 years old. This is her dad's Facebook account. It says Daddy's Baby Girls. disgusting. Alexandra said that at the age of 9, she tried to tell CPS, but her grandmother worked very closely with them and told them that she was lying. She said that her grandfather also knew what was going on, but he wasn't surprised and just didn't care. She said that her father threatened her multiple times that if she said anything again, he could make her disappear. She wasn't allowed to have a phone, friends, and he kept her away from her mother's family so that this secret wouldn't get out. Alexandra posted this on Facebook, and basically she said that her youngest was born with severe health issues and stayed in the hospital for the first week, but since her father was scared that the truth would be exposed, he forced her to keep the baby at home, all while he needed medical attention. This disgusting family secret was finally revealed one day when the youngest child was found malnourished. He was only weighing 6 pounds at the age of 1. That's when they did a genetic testing and found out that Kenneth and Alexandra were related. This monster faces more than 150 charges, and his parents can also be charged because they knew this entire time and they never reported it.
This is trypophobia.
The world is going to a freaking dark place, dark hole, man. The grandparents knew and they did nothing to try to stop it. They just ignored us. Hey, ain't my problem. Come on, man. People need to be better, plain and simple.
Phobia test, Extreme Edition. Can you make it through all 5? Let's find out. Start the test. Number 1. How about this?
I'm cool.
Halfway through. Feeling uncomfortable yet? Last one. If you couldn't make it to the end, then you could have trypophobia, which is the fear of clusters of small holes or patterns. Follow now to see if you can make it through the next extreme phobia test.
I made it. Where was she at?
If you're scared of snakes, this video will probably be your worst nightmare. This absolute unit of a snake is called the Titanoboa, and they existed over 60 million years ago. These things were slithering around at almost 50 feet long, and let me just put that into perspective for you. That would be like lining up 8 Shaquille O'Neals from head to toe, and we know that dude's massive. Now, God didn't want to make them too overpowered, so he didn't give them any venom, but he did give them the ability to be amazing swimmers and even faster than a racehorse when moving on land. Now, although the Titanoboa doesn't have any venom, it is a constrictor, so when it catches its prey, it crushes the absolute soul out of it. Its jaw then unhinges, allowing its mouth to open wide enough to consume a whole human, alligator, really anything else. You might be thinking, with all this power, how did this beast go extinct? Well, it's not because they skipped leg day. No. You see, when the Earth cooled down, they couldn't maintain their metabolism anymore and went extinct. You can thank God that they're not around today. Make sure you share this video with someone who hates snakes.
Today I'm going to show you one of the scariest things on the internet. When is the last time any of you guys have actually checked your spam folder? Well, today I got really bored and I was checking my emails and I clicked on my spam folder and I came across this. This is a spam email and it is basically threatening me that if I don't send $1,300, they're going to ruin my life. Firstly, I already know you and all of your loved ones very well. Secondly, the occasion for which I'm writing to you is not the happiest one for a friendly greeting. The next part of this email then proceeds to tell me that it has access to my webcam and that it's been monitoring my activity for the last few months and I've been up to some not good things. Apparently, I've been watching a highly controversial video. They recorded it. Then they proceed to tell me that they have access to my entire contact list and they're going to be sending this controversial video they recorded of me to all my friends, colleagues, and family. Here is the bad part. I can go further and put all of these files as well as the recorded fun of you and your hacked contents with hardcore videos. Then they proceed to say, send me $1,300 and I won't send it. Well, that got me really interested because I was like, there's no way people are actually dumb enough to fall for this scam. Right? They have made a total of $4,547. So that makes me wonder, what type of videos are these people who are sending the money watching? Look, I'm not telling people to do this, but they've made about $5 grand in like 4 days. Not that bad. But the real question is, what type of videos were these people watching where they felt scared enough to actually send the money? Be sure to like and follow for more videos tomorrow.
He's actually asking important questions, man. They sent $1,300 here. What were they watching, bro? They must have been watching something they wasn't supposed to, man. They were that scared. Because obviously you can tell that was a fake email, but it scared him to the core. He was doing something they weren't supposed to be doing.
Morbid Facts, Part 10. When 13-year-old Ryan White got AIDS from a blood donor in 1984, he was only given 6 months to live. Even though doctors said he posed absolutely zero risk to other students, Ryan was banned from returning to school by a petition signed by 117 parents. An auction was even held to raise funds to keep him out, and a local newspaper that supported him received death threats. The family had no other choice but to leave town when a bullet was shot through the window of their home. Ryan outlived the doctor's diagnosis by 5 years, dying at the age of 19. In 2009, Moscow native Julia Popova was stabbed in the neck by a mugger, but she was in so much shock that she walked home without even realizing that the knife was embedded in her, just millimeters from her spinal cord. She spent over an hour with the blade in her back before finally going to the hospital. The knife was successfully removed via surgery, and Julia made a full recovery. Dutchman Dirk Willems was a religious prisoner who escaped his execution in 1569. When the guard chasing him fell through the ice in a nearby river, Willems turned around to save him. He was then recaptured and burned at the stake. Your lungs have a total surface area of 750 square feet, meaning if they are opened up and laid flat, they would cover the entire size of a tennis court. In 1977, the drummer for Lynyrd Skynyrd, Artemis Pyle, survived the plane crash that killed half the band. He then walked to a nearby house for help, only to be shot by the homeowner. He was apparently startled by the sight of a long-haired, bloody man, and fired a warning shot that hit the drummer in the shoulder. Once Pyle shouted that there was a crash, the farmer helped him and he went on to recover.
Just wait for the video at the end where you see this giant thing submerged. It's beautiful. It's not. This is the gigantic crocodile animatronic used for the 1999 movie Lake Placid. Look at the animatronics mechanics that are going to be completely submerged, including most of it. And this is how absolutely massive it is. It was made by Stan Winston and his crew, and they're geniuses. It's great, but this horrifies me. I'm suing. Like, here's it in the water, mostly submerged, with bro up there. I could never, you could not pay me to be a guy in the freaking water like this. No. Like, could you ever get in the water with this thing? With this gigantic crocodile animatronic? No. Nah. This is the gigantic rig that is actually the, like, skeleton of the crocodile that's completely submerged. Like, look at this. Look at this. Knowing it's completely submerged in the water, I hate it. Look at this one. What's that underneath him? That's a person that's, like, fixing things underneath it. Let's look at it again. Could you ever do that? They use a giant winch to put it in the water. Like, why? They could have completely used CGI. They should have. I'm scared. This is one of the worst ones for me. Watch this video and let me know what you're thinking. And could you ever be in the water with that?
Imagine seeing that, man. You don't even think that's an animatronic. You would think that was real. You really can't tell the difference.
Here are some signs that you won't believe actually exist. Alright, here's the first one. Please do not stand, sit, climb or lean on zoo fences. If you fall, animals scare you and that might make them sick. Thank you. This container transports a disease which has no cure. Why? Danger, if you fall in the pond, you will be boiled. Attention, make sure the door is closed tightly so bears can't get in. Thank you. Why would bears be getting in? What the f? Really hoping the same sign is on the entrance of the slide. Oh, surely it isn't. Do not grab Hamish by the horns. I will not grab Hamish by the horn. If elevator does not move, do a small jump, it should move after. Nah, why would it move? What? Danger, do not get on elevator with one of these. If it leaks, you'll die. Why would someone get an elevator with one of these? What?
Behind me is 14-year-old George Stinney Jr. And at the age of 14, he was falsely accused of killing 2 girls. This happened 80 years ago, and this little kid was sentenced to death by the electric chair. They found the bodies of 2 young girls by George's house, so they automatically blamed him, even though they had no evidence whatsoever. On top of the false accusations, he spent 81 days in jail without even seeing his parents, and he was 80 miles away from his hometown. And he also did not get treated well. He didn't even have a lawyer in his presence during the time of questioning, and he was a kid, so he doesn't know better. He also did not receive a fair trial. The trial lasted 2 hours, and then it was handed down in 10 minutes. His parents weren't even allowed in the courtroom, and then they were banned from the city. On the day of his execution, he was carrying a Bible with him, and then they had to prop him up on that same Bible because he was too short for the electric chair. 70 years later, they overturned this conviction, saying that this case didn't make any sense. Apparently, the girls died because blunt force trauma by a beam. George is way too small to lift that beam up, so they were like, there's no possible way. But the damage was done. This was 70 years, way too late. The Green Mile by Stephen King was inspired by this story. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Let's see if you have thalassophobia. I'm going to show you 5 photos. If you feel too uncomfortable to make it to the 5th photo, then you could have thalassophobia. So let's go. First one. How about this?
I'm cool.
Feeling uneasy yet? Almost there. Last one. If those images made you feel uneasy, then you may have thalassophobia, which is the fear of deep bodies of water. So let me know if you discovered a new phobia down below.
But I wouldn't go that deep in water, so I think the last one got me, man. I'll never go that deep. That ain't for me. Somebody in there with him? Yep.
This film director was found stabbed to death inside of her London home. One thing was missing, it was her diamond-encrusted Rolex, and they think that is the motive for the murder right now. Her name is Jennifer Abbott, but she was known professionally as Sarah Steinberg. Now here's the crazy part, she was found by her niece and neighbors, and when they found her, she had tape over her mouth. Somebody stabbed her, maybe taped her mouth before they stabbed her, and then took her stuff and headed out. On top of this, she was found wrapped in a blanket on her bed. She was last seen walking her corgi on June 10th. Now that same very corgi was found alive. However, it was locked in the bathroom for 3 days, so it's a miracle that thing even survived. The niece was panicking that something was wrong with her aunt when she showed up initially. She got the neighbors, and the neighbor's son ended up breaking the door down. People are saying she also had stomach cancer and recently underwent surgery right before her death, which makes me think personally, somebody must have heard something, maybe she went through surgery and was recovering, and then that made her the perfect victim for their attack. Of course, she's a very successful director. She's going to have expensive things probably laying around her home. Do you guys think there's something fishy behind the scenes? Let me know.
Was this woman saved by her guardian angel? Joan wrote on Catholic.org that when she was 21, she was heading to a club with 2 friends. She said that as she got ready, she started feeling really odd. Then she said that it became clear to her that her and her friend were going to get into a car accident and she would not walk away from it. This was before cell phones, so she had to wait for her friend to tell her that she could not go with her since she had already left her house when Joan had this revelation. When Joan opened the door to tell her friend that she would not be going, she said that she felt a strong hand on each of her shoulders holding her back, even though she was completely alone in the room. Once she told her friend that she could not go with her, she said that the hands and the odd feeling went away. On the way home from the club, her friend got into a car accident and totaled the passenger side of the car where Joan would have been sitting. She was fine, but the passenger side of the car was completely destroyed.
I need to know how you feel about abandoned water parks, because if you're anything like me, you hate this. Look at this in the water. That shouldn't be there. That's supposed to float, not sink. Why is abandoned places, number one, terrifying, but also abandoned amusement parks and water parks so much worse? This image with the graffiti, that's actually beautiful. I don't like this though. This is still water. Icky. We got Cosmo and Wanda, or more recently, Elphaba and Glinda. The pipes in the water of this one in particular sends me over the edge. I have a huge phobia of pipes and water. Call me stupid, make fun of me all you want. This is icky, and I know I'm not the only one. Imagine that you're exploring an abandoned water park late at night, and you decide to go in there, and you get stuck, and there's no one to save you. I don't like that. Why am I scaring myself? Like, that's not safe, dude. That's not, please get down. Please get down. I'm gonna call your mom.
It really is.
Like, why? Why do people do this? I just don't like the fact that nature is taking this place back. It's beautiful. Terrifying, though. So, yeah. How do you feel? Terrifying, right? Or am I dumb yet again?
Maybe. Maybe I go exploring. Abandoned water park during the day, but not during the night. I don't know what creepy crawler's gonna try to come out. So, yeah.
World's most dangerous conspiracy theories. This picture represents conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Some of these theories say once you learn the truth, there's no return. For this series, we're going to be picking some from each category until we reach tier 10, the point of no return. Tier 10 is so scary that some people are saying that I will die before I even reach tier 10. Okay, tier 1. Today we're going to be talking about cryptozoology. Cryptozoology is defined as the search for animals whose existence is disputed. For example, Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and the Loch Ness Monster. For this one, I want to talk about the Ningen. The Ningen is based in Japan. It's an aquatic humanoid creature that can be larger than a whale but also mutate into a human. I know what you're thinking. No way this is real. I thought the same thing until I saw this. In 2007, a company published a magazine with Ningens on the cover. The magazines were completely destroyed with no trace, but I found the PDF file of what it looked like. It gets even weirder. Early February 2013, a huge mysterious object washes ashore that makes locals freak out. 3 days later, the website was taken down without a trace. Doing some more research, I found out that people from Japan created a forum page talking about all of the government corruption that was happening. They then began to speak on the Ningen, and somebody says that he was on the research ship when they captured it on camera, and then government officials raided the boat and even supposedly killing some of the people. 3 days later, the forum page was taken down without a trace, but I found it once again, and take a look at one of the videos somebody posted. So what do you think? Is this Ningen just some myth, or is the government hiding something much darker? This was only tier 1. Make sure to follow to see tier 2 because we have a lot more to cover.
Creepy last words people said right before dying. Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was of cancer. The patient had upside down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one two-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
Today we're going to be talking about some of the absolute worst shark animatronics, most of them underwater. Let's go. This image, I hate it. This guy that's on a dark ride, I don't like this one at all. Here's another version of it when it pops out of the water more. Who did this? Here's another image of the same shark with the track right by it. That is sickening, completely submerged like that. This image completely plagues my nightmares of the Jaws animatronic for the movie.
Yo, some Jaws.
This one's actually super interesting. Her name is Daisy, and she is a shark animatronic that looks super, super realistic. And she is rented out for people to like make movies and stuff of her. But here's an image of her being transported in the water, and she looks kind of goofy. This isn't an animatronic, but this image freaks me out every single time I see it. I'm pretty sure it's CGI, and it is from Deep Blue Sea, the best shark movie ever made. Another Jaws animatronic picture. I hate this one. All the tracks and all the animatronics, some mechanophobia coded. Hate it. This one has braces, and that red eye is freaking me out. Here's one of the Jaws animatronics without face skin if you needed to have nightmares tonight. There you go. These animatronics, oh my god, the fact that they're in the water is so sickening like that. Like, why? Sharks are the scariest because of their completely black eyeballs. Like, they have no, like, whites of their eyes. They're just, like, these black, just creepy, creepy eyes. I don't like them. You would have to pay me at least $500 to get on this ride, this Finding Nemo ride. The fact that Bruce sticks his head out like that. Like, look at him side-eyeing, dude. I don't like looking at this picture at all. And, of course, the Jaws animatronic at the Japanese Universal Studios. The worst. The fact that it is huge. And it is in that water like that. Hate it. Which one was the worst for you?
This is what would happen if you stopped sleeping. After the first 24 hours, you would feel great, which is because early on, sleeplessness stimulates a part of your brain that causes you to feel happy and energetic. But not long after this 24-hour mark, you'll start to feel sluggish, be forgetful, and appear drunk to other people. After 2 full days of not sleeping, your body would appear to lose all its energy and feel like it's shutting down. Just because your body can't properly metabolize glucose without sleep. After 3 days, your skin would become pale, your eyes would become red, and you'll start to hallucinate. Which means that your worst nightmares are going to appear real right in front of your eyes, kind of like sleep paralysis, but you're awake. And after 2 full weeks, your immune system would be so weak that the common cold would be enough to unalive you. And after 3 full weeks, there's a super high chance that you'll have a heart attack. But let me know, what was the longest you ever went without sleeping?
This married teacher cried as cops arrested her after they found out she had sexually abused a student 45 times. And apparently she had groomed that student since he was 14 all the way up to about age 16. She'll face nearly 60 years in prison if she's convicted and found guilty. Apparently, the teenage student's mother was going through his phone and found disturbing texts between the teacher and her son. She decided to contact the school board and the police to get to the bottom of what's going on. As of today, she has resigned from her teaching job. And then, like I said, there was 45 counts of her and the student engaging in sex and stuff like that. Whether that was in school, before school, at her own home, everything. They found thousands of texts confirming what the boy's mother was saying too. When police confronted her, she claimed that the student was just some sort of stalker that was obsessed with her. And also, the husband had no idea what was going on. He just knew the student as some soccer player at the school. And that's when the text messages got pulled up. As of right now, she's denying any sexual relations with that student. And then they pulled from her notes app and found a memoir of things she was mad about. Apparently, she was mad that the teenage boy was not picking her as the first choice or something like that. She was literally just venting in her notes app about this kid. A 30-year-old grown teacher. Let me know your thoughts.
She was sacrificed by 3 teen boys so that their band could make it big and even inspired the movie Jennifer's Body. Elise Pollard was born on April 26 of 1980 in Arroyo Grande, California. Her parents raised her as a Christian and had a strong connection with their beliefs. On July 22nd of 1995, 15-year-old Elise was reported missing. For about 8 months, no one could find a trace of Elise and her case went cold. The case opened up when 17-year-old Royce Casey admitted to taking the life of Elise with 2 other teenagers. He led police to mummified remains of Elise at a grave that was only a quarter mile away from her home. The 2 other teens involved were 16-year-old Jacob and 15-year-old Joseph, and the 3 were all arrested and charged. According to Royce, they picked Elise because she was a blonde, blue-eyed virgin, and they were going to sacrifice her so that their metal band would make it big. Once the boys picked Elise as their victim, they stalked her for weeks and to find the best way they could get her away from school and to hang out with them alone. When they successfully lured Elise away from the school, they took her to a grove with the promise of substances. They attacked her from behind, put a belt around her neck, and strangled her. They all took turns stabbing her when she was left with 12 stab wounds. As these boys were attacking and kicking her body, Elise was praying to God for help and calling out for her mom. Elise eventually bled to death with her 12 stab wounds. But the torture didn't stop there. Once she had passed away, the boys essayed her body. Royce was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 21 years, and it's probably because he confessed to the police. Jacob and Joseph were both sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 26 years. In 2021, Royce was up for parole and he stated that he was a changed person, he felt remorse, he even got an education while he was in prison, but he was denied. Many think that the movie Jennifer's Body is based on this case. In the movie, Jennifer is taken to the woods by these band members. They end up sacrificing her so that their band can make it big. But in the movie, she becomes a vampire and takes the life of guys.
Man, we know, man, how these movies and shows will be based off of real true stories, so that's not that far of a leap. It's a chilling case.
Would you ever visit this abandoned park that has a bunch of massive busts of old presidents? You know, I don't think I would. It used to be a lively place, but it closed in 2010, and some guy bought all of the busts and put it on some abandoned land. And it looks like this now. This is horrifying. I don't like this. This is how big a human is in comparison to all of these. That's just sickening. Can you imagine going there after dark in this abandoned area with all these massive... I couldn't do it. Also, this is Abraham Lincoln. If you know, you know. Like jail. Did someone do this on purpose, or was it a weird coincidence? This is kind of cool with all the plants on it. Still terrifying though. I have megalophobia, which is fear of huge things, and then abandoned places mixed together. No, thank you.
Ain't good.
I think George Washington's about to square up. Does anyone know which president this is that's missing the jaw though? This is horrific. But yeah, here's another picture of it. Would you go here? Some of them are missing the top of their heads. They had their wigs snatched. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to go, but also I would be terrified I'd poop.
She found out that her husband was cheating on her, so she cut his private part off. In 2015, Feng Lung from China had found out that her husband was sending emails to another woman. Her husband, Fan, had used her phone to send these emails, but he forgot to log out of his account. Fan was asleep in their bed when this happened, and without thinking twice, Feng grabbed a pair of scissors, walked over to him, and cut his private part off, and it was completely detached from his body. Fan was rushed to the hospital, and doctors were successfully able to reattach it and treat his injuries. Feng was unhappy that the doctors were able to do this, so she snuck into the surgery center and attacked her husband again. She did the same exact thing to Fan, but this time she threw it out the window. There was blood pouring from Fan's groin area, but he still went outside to go look for it. As he was running outside, Feng ran after him to try and attack him again, but that's when he punched her in the face. Hospital staff were able to separate the two, and Fan was treated for his new injuries. Unfortunately for Fan, doctors nor police were able to locate his private part. Feng ended up being arrested and charged with grievous bodily harm.
AI can now officially read your dreams. When you look at anything like this grass field, your brain's neural pathways form a specific pattern, sort of like a heat map. And every possible thing you look at or can even imagine has its own unique pattern. When you dream, your brain behaves much the same way, forming brain frequency patterns based on what you're dreaming about. Well, Asa Raskin from the Center for Humane Technology announced that they've done some tests, and what they discovered is impressive but incredibly alarming. They put a test subject inside an fMRI machine, which can read brain activity, and had them look at an image, in this case an image of a giraffe, and the machine mapped out their brainwave pattern. They then hid the image and fed only the brain map data to an AI image generator, probably a little more advanced than Midjourney. An AI that has never seen the original image of the giraffe, nor had access to an internet database that stored the original image either. It then generated, strictly based on the fMRI brain map data, what it determined that the person was looking at, and this is what it produced. Not exactly the same image, but I don't think you understand what it means that AI can now turn this into that with this level of accuracy. And we're still quite early in this technology, so it's only getting better from here. Then they took it a step further. They showed the test subject in the fMRI machine a video, and on top of generating what the subject is seeing, they also wanted to find out if the AI can read your inner monologue, the words you think to yourself in your own mind that no one else knows about. The test subject watched this video and was told to narrate what was going on in the video inside their own head. Here, let's do it together. You ready? Did you get all that? Now again, given only the subject's brain activity heat map, this is what the AI determined the person was thinking. I see a girl that looks just like me get hit on the back and then she is knocked off. Probably a bit different than what you thought, but this is literally AI reading our minds, and all it takes is someone's fMRI brain scan data. Our thoughts and dreams can now be leaked to the world. Give it a few more years and this technology will get near perfect. And sure, fMRI machines may look like this today, big, clunky, and all around you, but that technology is also going to improve. What if we have fMRI Apple Vision Pro goggles 10, 20 years from now? You'd be able to see and read what someone is thinking or even dreaming by just looking at them.
Water slides in the world. This water slide was designed to have a loop at the end. When it was tested though, riders had injuries. Many had nosebleeds and a dummy was even decapitated. However, they still opened it to the public. When one woman got stuck on the loop, they finally closed it down. This water slide drops you 60 feet vertically and is known as the Leap of Faith. You can also be sent through a hammerhead and shark lagoon too. The sharks will come inches from the glass right up next to you. The tallest water slide in the world is the Burrup. This shoots you out at 70 miles per hour. When a 10-year-old boy's raft went airborne though, he passed away and the slide was brought into question. The owner lied when he said he didn't know what happened. There had been no safety regulations and the owner knew it. So the owner got charged with second-degree murder.
Things people do for money.
Facts that might ruin your day. There have been at least 2 fatal plane crashes due to wasps. We are all spending more than 6 hours a day on our phones, which is more than 25% of our entire existence. There are job applications out there that are only for collecting data. This is why large companies have positions that they never actually seem to hire. This wildlife painter from the 1800s would eat all of the birds that he painted. Bald eagles, owls, sparrows, robins, whooping cranes. 5,000 mail carriers are attacked by dogs every year. A 6-year-old's family thought he was too friendly with strangers, so they had a coworker that was a stranger to the boy hold him in a truck for 4 hours before lecturing him about stranger danger. Half of all plastic in the world has been created in the last 15 years. Crayons have a derivative of beef fat called stearic acid that is also what gives it its waxy smell. Loneliness can be as harmful to somebody's health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
We have a massive update on the people that were stuck upside down for over an hour. And this will make you never want to ride a ride ever again. So this took place during a middle school field trip in Portland, Oregon. And the full story behind this gets insane. Because not only are people saying that they're never going on a roller coaster again, but that the people that were stuck upside down for so long are going to have permanent effects. Because they were on so long, and even doctors have been saying that this is going to have a lot of issues. Because with too much blood to the brain, but now the people that were on the ride are finally talking about it. This guy just said that it was really scary. This guy said, still bleeping suffering from severe migraines due to being trapped upside down for 26 minutes at Oaks Park. Another person says, I was on this ride at Oaks Park with my little brother. He fainted and still has a migraine. We were forced to finish the ride, which was awful. But this guy, Stu, left the funniest comment I've ever seen. Oh, isn't Stu so funny?
World's most Hey man, just a little known fact about me to my seekers out there. I'm not a like avid, ride of roller coasters. It's rare, but that's just something I can't do, the heights and stuff. That's one of the reasons why I stay away from the coasters, man.
Dangerous attractions, let's go. This Gap Bridge in China, located in the province of Chongqing, this theme park is known for its dangerous attractions, such as this Gap Bridge hanging 500 feet above the ground. Your goal is to walk across it without falling, but don't worry, you're held by a harness. This cliff swing in the same park. You get to sit on the swing over this 1,000 feet cliff. The ride lasts around 5 minutes, and apparently you get to enjoy this amazing view. Caminito del Rey in Spain. This one is definitely not made for people that are scared of heights. You'll have to hike for around 4.8 miles in scary conditions. From broken path to walking on metal bars, it reminds me of the game Uncharted. Cave diving in the Ikitakni River. This river is located in Florida, which allows you to dive in a very long but narrow cave with some holes sometimes smaller than your hips. Don't go there if you have claustrophobia.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's way too small. Imagine.
Here are some secrets hidden in everyday things.
And have you ever wondered why movie theater seats are usually red? That's because in the 18th century, Italian opera houses had red seats. And this was a way to attract wealthy theater goers. Not only that, but red also has a longer wavelength for our eyes to detect. And this makes it harder to see in the dark. So when the lights go down in the movie theater, it'll all be dark. Now, bread tags actually do a lot more than just sealing the bread in the package. The different colors actually let employees know when to stock the bread. But it can also help us customers shop smarter, because each color represents a different day of the week that the bread was baked. Blue for Mondays, green for Tuesdays, red for Thursdays, white for Fridays, and yellow for Saturdays. So next time you shop for bread, make sure you pick the one that's the freshest.
Noted.
There is so much toxic pollution in Pakistan right now that it can literally be seen from space. This was Pakistan's Punjab province and parts of northwest India in August, and this is what it looks like right now. And let me just put this into perspective. According to IQ Air, which tracks global air quality, a reading above 300 is considered hazardous to a person's health. But the air quality index in Pakistan's second largest city on Monday was 1,200. Schools and government offices have been ordered to close. There's been a ban on all outdoor activities, and tens of thousands of people have been treated for respiratory issues. In fact, recently, India's air pollution has been found to be so bad that experts have warned that this smog could take years off of the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And if you're wondering, where the hell does this smog come from? Well, it comes from a number of pollutants, including farmers burning waste, coal-fired power plants, traffic, factories, and most recently, Diwali, which saw millions of people celebrate by lighting fireworks and crackers.
Normal-looking photos that have a disturbing backstory. This sweet-looking little girl is Jeannie, also known as the Wild Child, who spent the first 13 years of her life chained to a chair, and this photo was taken moments after she'd just been rescued. This normal-looking scenic painting features the ocean with the night sky. However, it was painted by Adolf Hitler, whose dream in life was to become an artist. However, he failed the entrance exam to art school and ultimately gave up. This photo of Richard Hickok and Perry Smith shows two murders after hearing that they'd been sentenced to death. They murdered a family of 4 and planned to rob them, but they found nothing worth stealing except for a mere $50. The girl on the left is wearing a wire. The girl on the right has no idea. Together they stabbed one of their friends to death, and the girl on the left confessed to the police and is now cooperating with them. Besides the pixelation, this looks like a couple getting married surrounded by their loved ones. However, all the children in this photo were horribly physically and mentally abused until a couple of them managed to escape.
News that will give you hope.
You never know.
This woman swept out to sea while at the beach was rescued after 37 hours of drifting over 50 miles in an inflatable swim ring. Overdoses have decreased for the first time in over 5 years. This stranger saved a 4-year-old from a flying puck at a hockey game. Every country has now banned the use of leaded gasoline in cars, with Algeria being the last one a couple years ago. Bruno was able to get a fresh start and a new life after 473 days in a shelter. A study of over 2 million people found that eating cheese is healthy for aging because of the lower stress that you experience in life. The amount of sugar consumed by kids in the United Kingdom halved in 1 year after a sugar tax was introduced. Scientists have developed a glowing dye that sticks to cancer cells, which helps scientists prevent cancer from coming back. This nearly extinct pupfish has hit a 25-year high with their population. There are less than 200 of them in one single cave in the Mojave Desert of Nevada.
Stumble across one of these historical items, you'd be an instant billionaire. Head to this temple in Kerala, India, and you'll make a lot of money, because the last person that opened a chamber here found over $20 billion worth of treasure inside. But there's a catch. No one will open the 2 remaining vaults because according to local legend, they're protected by 2 giant serpents. So if snakes aren't your thing, then perhaps try looking for the Tsar's lost treasure. Just off the coast of the beautiful Nantucket Island is a ship carrying billions worth of gold. Grab a scuba set and try, but be warned, because the shipwreck is over 80 meters deep and is infested with sharks. And finally, keep your eyes open for this skull. The Peking Man. First found in World War II, the skull is one of the most important fossils to ever be found. But the thing is, we lost it. It was last seen in 2 carefully packed crates leaving China, so if you find it, kindly bring it back and earn yourself hundreds of millions.
Wow. A
The
skull
most
is worth that
dangerous
much?
water slides in the world. This water slide was designed to have a loop at the end. However, when it was tested, riders had injuries. Many of them had nosebleeds and a dummy was even decapitated. However, they still went on to open it to the public. But when one woman got stuck on the loop, they finally closed it down. Next, this water slide drops you 60 feet vertically. It's called the Leap of Faith. You're also sent through a shark lagoon. The sharks will swim inches away from the glass right next to you.
Imagine if the shark got through the glass. I'm good on that.
Scary things hidden in photos. Just a girl walking alone. But wait, she is holding someone's hand. Who is that? Siblings posing for photo. Freddy Krueger. Just friends taking picture after duty. Who is she? Normal photo of girl sitting in a bench. Slenderman was standing behind her.
These edits.
Just a photo of man. Who's that behind the door? Just a girl photo? Look closely. Just a normal photo at wedding. Who is that?
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you, part 2. A French president died from a blowjob. My man Felix Leray literally got his soul sucked out of him. He was both coming and going. The deadliest female serial killer in American history had murdered 35 people with an axe by the time she was 18 years old. When the ruler of Poland, Jadwiga, was considering a marriage proposal from the Grand Duke of Lithuania, her peers were worried because it was rumored that he had massive genitals and would kill his wife on the wedding night. They ended up sending 2 spies to Lithuania to find out if it was true, and they came back and happily reported that there was nothing to worry about. Powdered wigs were originally invented to cover up head sores caused by syphilis. The first person to examine semen under a microscope was Antony van Leeuwenhoek, the father or daddy of microbiology.
People are sending me creepy videos all the time.
Okay.
What would you do if you saw this woman while walking alone at night?
Stand into your soul.
What the was that?
Nope, not a new character. Just a super rare character that you'll probably never see. Meet the bush dog. Now at first glance, it looks like a little bear or Wolverine, but it's actually a 12-inch tall, fully carnivorous canine that's found in the Amazon. And like most canines, they're pack hunters, which makes them the smallest pack hunting canine in the world. They're basically what a Chihuahua wishes they could be. Not to mention, they hunt things like birds and rodents and even capybara. But the cool part is not what they hunt, it's how they hunt. Basically, the pack splits up into 2 groups when it comes time to hunt. One group stays on land, and the other group jump in water. They're really good in water. And the ones on land will find a prey and begin the chase. And usually the instincts of an animal who's running from a predator is to jump in water. You see where this is going? Once they jump in that water, they get ambushed. That will be their last mistake. I didn't know 12 inches could be so deadly. Other than that, we don't know too much else about them. Humans almost never see them. And as always, follow for more facts.
Interesting, man. Land and sea. Makes you wonder what other animals we haven't seen or know a lot about. Gets you thinking.
The strangest fact about each zodiac sign. Okay, firstly, it's scientifically proven that if you're a Gemini, you're good at lying. So the next time you're around a Gemini, you might not want to believe everything they say. Alright, next, if you're a Taurus, the strangest fact about you guys is you all are known to be stalkers. The scary thing is, you might never know they're doing this. Now, this one creeps me out. Out of all the signs, Scorpios are the ones who have the most dark and creepy thoughts. But my question is, what do you all be thinking about? Well, if that wasn't bad enough, Cancers are proven to be the most dangerous. They get arrested the most, and the crimes are usually pretty serious. I'm sorry to say, but if you're a Leo, it's proven that you guys are the worst drivers. Finally, this is probably the most unusual fact of them all. If you're an Aries, it's said that you are obsessed with death. This just doesn't sit right with me.
Leos are the worst drivers? I'm gonna have to look that up.
Hot take, not gonna apologize for it. 1v1, a Wolverine would whoop a honey badger. That Streets made this aggressive bull cut the face of Black Air Force Energy. Old time the Wolverine's the CEO of Cell Block D tendencies. First of all, they're more than capable of hunting for themselves, but some dudes can't be bothered to get their own bread. Instead, they gotta steal from the baker. And by baker, I mean they'll tax animals like wolves, cougars, even bears. Let me remind you, they're about the size of a medium dog, yet the crackhead courage can have an overgrown Canadian cat backpedaling. And you thought honey badgers were on timing. And they are, but Wolverines, where else are you gonna find a war weasel 2v1ing a pair of wolves? But don't get it twisted, they can hunt, and they are very good at it. They've been known to murk moose by either going after one that's already injured or one stuck in the snow, since Felony Ferret's like a psychopath with snowshoes. And they'll track you down and run your fate like John Wick. This reindeer was injured and likely bleeding, so the travel-sized bear followed it and delivered smoke directly to the face like a cigarette. They've also been known to eat porcupines, or at least die trying. And you can even find a story of a Wolverine packing up a polar bear. Yeah, it was at a zoo, but that's still a fat W. Wolverines have this really bad habit of whenever they find something that doesn't belong to them, they'll immediately soak it with the smell of death, strong enough to make you cry fresh from its brown eye. A smell so offensive they've been nicknamed Skunk Bear. There have been stories of them breaking into cabins, blowing up the place like a truck stop bathroom, and walking out with like a sock or something. Almost forgot, this walking garbage disposal has rotated molars in the back of its mouth, meaning they can chew through solid bone and frozen meat. I'm sorry, but a motivated skunk monkey is absolutely folding an Oreo-coated temper tantrum, but that's just me.
The weirdest things found underwater, part 1. On June 18th, 2021, a woman named Jennifer Dowker was diving in the Sheboygan River in Michigan when she found a stuffed bottle. Inside it was a letter from 1926 which stated, "Will the person who finds this bottle return this paper to George Morrow in Sheboygan, Michigan, and tell where it was found?" Jennifer then posted it on social media and it went viral. After some time, George Morrow's daughter saw it and contacted her and said that her dad must have placed the message in the bottle when he was just 18 years old. And in 1944, a boy from Estonia noticed tank tracks leading into a lake, and he saw air bubbles rising to the surface for 2 months straight. He waited for a while, but then moved on. However, decades later, he suddenly remembered that incident and told others about his memories, including the leader of the War History Club. This led to a recovery in 2000 of a Soviet T-34 World War II tank, which had been underwater since 1944.
Even spent time in prison, starting with the one that shocked me the most, Phil Lewis, who played Mr. Mosby on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. He went to prison for manslaughter. So in 1991, way before The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody aired, Phil killed a 21-year-old girl while drinking and driving. But he was released early and only served 1 year because of the work he did in prison. Next, we got Debbie Ryan, who played Bailey Pickett on The Sweet Life on Deck. When Debbie was 22 years old, she was arrested and charged with a DUI after she crashed her car with another person and severely injured them. Okay, this one's crazy. Back in 2018, Adam Hicks, who starred in Zeke and Luther, was arrested after going around pointing guns at people and robbing them with the help of his girlfriend, Danny. He ended up getting only 5 years in prison, and now he's pursuing his music career and he's on TikTok. Now, this one definitely caught me off guard because Mitchell Musso played such an innocent kid on Hannah Montana, but he was arrested for public intoxication on August 26th of this year when he apparently stole a bag of chips from a store, but he denies this ever happened. Mitchell was also arrested back in 2011 when he was 20 years old for a DUI. Let me know which one surprised you the most, because mine was Mr. Mosby.
Yeah, it was Mr. Mosby for me as well. You never would have guessed that.
Do you think ghosts can help solve cold cases? Well, throughout history, there's been reports of ghosts coming back to tell their loved ones who killed them, like the story of Fred Fisher. And if you're interested in these kind of stories, I just did a podcast episode on the most famous one. So in 1826, an Australian man by the name of Fred Fisher disappeared into thin air. But this never sat right with his best friend John, because Fred seemed to have left in the middle of the night and didn't take any of his stuff with him. Fred's neighbor claimed that he had gone back to England and had named him the power of attorney. And then his neighbor starts selling all of Fred's stuff. So John starts thinking that something is not right. So one night, months later, John is walking down the street, he's had a few drinks, and right when he's passing Fred's property, he sees a ghostly figure standing in his yard. It looks exactly like Fred, but he's completely pale with like this dead stare. And the figure just lifts one hand slowly and points past John to a creek that's behind him. So the next day, John goes down to the creek right around where this apparition was telling him to go, and sure enough, he finds Fred's body. Not only did this ghost lead John to Fred's body, but it also led to the arrest of the sketchy neighbor for his murder. This full story and more this week on the pod.
Ghosts coming back and telling their side of the story wasn't in a...
In 1992, the body of Aglina Diaz de Leon was found right here in this church courtyard. My fiance and I host the podcast Murder in America, and we decided to visit this church on a sunny day last month so we could tell Aglina's story to all of you guys. In 1992, Aglina was found right here in the courtyard of the building, nude, and her throat had been slashed after she was strangled. For 10 years after the crime, nobody had a clue who killed Aglina, and it was a national mystery. That is, until one day in 2002, when police finally got a lead through DNA. Witnesses saw a man named Guadalupe Sandoval near the scene of the crime the night that it happened, and DNA linked him 10 years later to the murder. In the meantime, he had married and raised 2 kids. You never know who you're marrying, I guess.
Truly don't, and it sounds like he got away with it too. Sickening.
The Muffin Man is actually a serial killer. You know the Muffin Man nursery rhyme, right? But did you know it was based on a dark, true story? 1 second. Chocolate chip. Tastes like your mama boning. But yeah, the story is darker than you think. Because in the 1800s, there was a man named Frederick Thomas Linwood. And he would wait lurking in alleys, looking for his next victims. And they would always be kids. You see, he would kidnap them and unalive them, luring them in with muffins. I mean, what kid wouldn't want a tasty snack? When the townspeople got word of what was happening, they decided to come together and figure out a way to prevent this, to spread awareness amongst the kids and keep them safe, warning them about the Muffin Man, who was a danger on Drury Lane. You're walking past the alleyway, and the Muffin Man gets you. Your fourth act sees this and tries to rescue you. Let me know who it is, and let me know if you think you'd be doomed or not. Anyways, he's one of the first documented serial killers in the world. And everyone still teaches this song to their kids, even children TV shows. And yet nobody knows that
The Muffin Man. I heard about that because of Shrek, bro. You know, the Muffin Man scene between Gingerbread Man and Lord Farquaad. Classic.
Nobody has been able to explain this creepy viral video. For the past 11 years, a man who runs a TikTok account by the name of Dude, My House is Haunted has been pretty confident that there has been some paranormal activity within his home. He claims that ever since his wife passed away, there have been some strange and unusual things going on. So eventually he decided to leave cameras out and record what was happening and post it onto TikTok, which is the footage that you are about to see. In this video, you can see a chair seemingly moving on its own. It moves somewhat slowly until it suddenly is violently pulled into the corner by the kitchen. A mysterious, shadowy figure can be seen moving behind the chair, and then suddenly out of nowhere, the chair is thrown into the kitchen. Now, of course, we're not really sure what happened in this video, but I'm having a hard time coming up with an explanation for this one.
Or it could just be an edit. Simple as that.
Insanely dark facts and things that have happened at Disney World. When Disney had first opened way back in the 70s, Walt Disney had originally hired spies. He would station them around the park so they could eavesdrop on the guests and get a feel for how they actually liked the experience. It's pretty much common knowledge that Disney does have an underground tunnel system, but did you know that that system runs a full 9 acres under the park, and people have actually gotten lost down there? Roughly 10 or so years ago, there was an incident that was reported near Space Mountain when a guest tried to sneak on a duffel bag. When employees found out and they asked to search it, they found inside a 6-month-old baby. Why this parent was trying to sneak a baby onto a roller coaster, we do not know. In a lesser-known incident that Disney actually covered up pretty well, in 2004, a 38-year-old cast member who was playing Pluto was run over by the Beauty and the Beast float during the opening parade. Although clearly deceased at the scene, Disney refused to declare the death until the body was brought outside of the park.
The things companies do for money, man.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 18. A man from Queens once spent 5 months in jail completely unaware that his bail was just $2. Since spiders molt, when you see what you might think is a dead spider, it could just be that the spider left behind its exoskeleton and is now bigger than before, around with a bunch of poop inside of them. Scientists accidentally killed the world's oldest living animal, which was a clam that lived to be 507 years old. Statistically speaking, at least one person who comments on this video will not be alive tomorrow. The real reason you shouldn't eat raw cookie dough isn't because of getting sick from eating raw eggs. It's because you shouldn't eat raw flour, which contains fecal matter from all the birds flying over the field and pooping on the wheat.
I bet you didn't know that these 3 myths aren't true. So the first one is that if you swallow chewing gum, your stomach will take 7 years to digest it. And that's just not true. And that's totally cap, because if you swallow some gum, it'll only take about 2 to 4 days to pass through your entire system.
Wow. Wow.
The second myth is that cracking your knuckles will give you arthritis. Scientists have not yet discovered a correlation between cracking your knuckles and arthritis. However, over time it can lessen your grip strength. And at number 3, we have the myth that sugar makes kids hyper. I totally thought this one was true, but scientists say that it's completely false. While it has been proven that sugar can change your mood and make you feel more active, there's no real connection between kids being hyper and the consumption of sugar.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to call Cap on that last one, bro. Because if you get some kids some sugar, bro, they'll be freaking hyper, man, running all around the place, man. I don't believe that last one. Like I said, when we watch these videos together with you guys, we always gotta do our own research. Where he at? The middle of the night. Could not be me.
AC is not working. Look at everyone. So many people, they are using these magazines. AC is not working at all. And as usual, your TV screens are also not working. Neither this button for calling the cabin crew. Nothing is working. Nothing. Not even the light is working. See. This is what you are providing. And as usual, that is why Air India is considered as one of the worst airlines in the world.
We all know how that ended.
These are
Tragic.
facts that make death even scarier. Up first, since the first ever human being, about 108 billion people have died. If you just stop and think about that for a second, it's actually impossible to wrap your head around. Every single human being you've ever read about has lived on this planet and died. Next up, we've all heard the phrase, he died of old age. But that is a complete myth. You don't actually die from old age, but instead all of the sicknesses and diseases that come with getting old. Getting old is actually awful and is probably one of the worst things about being a human. Finally, by the time you finish this video, 150 to 200 people will have died. People die every second of the day, which should make you stop and appreciate your life right now, because it could be gone within seconds.
You're spitting at the end, man. We gotta appreciate the time we have now.
Can you imagine living with someone that you know is trying to end your life? This hidden camera captures a moment this woman puts bleach inside her husband's coffee maker multiple times a day. This is Robbie Johnson, and he began setting up cameras all around his house when he started to notice that his coffee was tasting a little off. He wasn't really expecting to catch anything, but when he looked back at the footage, he was shocked. His wife Melody is seen pouring a substance inside his coffee maker every single day before he brewed the coffee. Robbie got testing strips, and each time it tested positive for chlorine. At this time, Robbie and Melody were in the process of a divorce, but they were still living together. Robbie pretended to drink his coffee every morning and continued to gather evidence so that he can go to police. But when he showed police all this footage, they said that they couldn't see exactly what Melody was pouring into the coffee maker, so he couldn't prove it. So Robbie had to set up even more cameras around the house with different angles so that it can prove that Melody was in fact poisoning him. Melody was charged with attempted murder, and I bet this guy will never let anyone else make him a coffee again.
Damn right. Now, after seeing that.
Today I'm going to be asking my haunted doll about S-Walkers. I won't say their name because people don't like saying their name. So if you don't know what an S-Walker is, basically it's this creature that's been seen throughout history. A lot of Native American culture believes in these walkers and believe that they are demonic entities that kind of pose themselves as animals or different types of species. So I'm going to ask my haunted doll what she thinks of them, if she believes in them. The link to the Spirit Box app I use is in my bio. Lola, do you believe in S-Walkers? Yes, she does. Have you ever come across one before? Yes. That was a really quick yeah. Have you ever been attacked by an S-Walker? No, that's good. They're dangerous. Are they dangerous to be around? Yes. I feel her getting very anxious about it. I think that's confirmation that she's anxious. Lola, do you think any of our followers have ever had an experience with S-Walkers? Yeah, she thinks that maybe some of you have. Will you keep our followers safe from these creatures? Yes, she will. She'll always keep you guys safe. She'll do the best she can.
I don't know, what was that device just twisting how she communicated with that dog?
What's a missing persons case that still keeps you up at night? I always think about the disappearance of Nicholas Downey and how he completely disappeared after his rental car was found abandoned. So this is 37-year-old Nicholas Downey, and he was last seen on February 27th, 2023 in Bristol, Florida. At the time he was working in Bradenton, but he'd taken a week off to go and visit his wife Holly, who was staying at a rehabilitation center in Mississippi. For the trip, Nicholas rented a Tesla through the Turo app. He was on his way back home when, on February 26th, he pulled off of Interstate 10 to recharge the Tesla behind a McDonald's in Marianna, Florida. Security footage shows that someone exited the vehicle to charge it, but the footage was too blurry to know if it was actually Nicholas getting out of the car. The person then gets back into the car before pulling on a State Road 71 heading south instead of getting back on the interstate. While this was happening, the car's owner was watching its progress on the Turo app and saw the direction it was heading. This worried the owner because the car wasn't heading back to Tampa as planned, and he already had the car scheduled to be rented out by another customer the following day. So he sent Nicholas a text message to make sure that he was okay, which would have showed up on the car's dashboard, but he never got a response back. Nicholas was scheduled to go back to work the morning of February 27th, but he never showed up. Instead, that morning, the Tesla he was renting was found abandoned in Liberty County, parked between Turkey Creek and Prison Road. This area is, I guess, known as the Stoke site. But Nicholas was nowhere to be found. The car only had a little bit of charge left and the windshield was damaged. Authorities found that the car at some point had driven under a cable, and this was confirmed when they found the cable in question about 1.5 miles away with the car's white paint on it. The police contacted the vehicle's owner, who was then able to remotely unlock it. And inside the car, police found 2 phones, one belonging to Nicholas and one belonging to his wife, who wasn't allowed to have a personal phone at the rehab center. Also inside the car was a change of clothes, a McDonald's receipt, a drone that Nicholas used for work, and an unknown substance. Authorities searched the area surrounding the car by land and air, and they even brought in tracking dogs, but no trace of Nicholas has ever been found. According to a sheriff that was on the scene, he said that there were hardly any footprints surrounding the car, and that something isn't adding up. His family didn't even know about his disappearance until a few days later on March 3rd when his wife was allowed to call him, but a deputy answered instead. The car rental was without contact and done through the Turo app, so the owner of the car never actually met Nicholas. And according to Nicholas's mom, she last spoke to him around 8:30 the night he went missing, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary. She mentioned that Nicholas did struggle with alcohol and drugs in the past, but he's never just not reached out. They talk almost every day, so it's not like him to just disappear. It's now been a year and Nicholas is still missing. If you have any information about his disappearance at all, please contact the number on the screen.
He just vanished. That was a weird story. Through that Turo app, that's when they be using to rent cars, right? Luxury cars. I've heard about that.
This might be the scariest thing that ever happened to America. We all know that America had a lot of scary things happen to it. But this has to be the scariest thing ever. On August 29th, 1968, every single TV in America shut down. But a demonic whispering was coming from every TV in America. Many people believed that it was the devil trying to get across some message, but nobody really understood it. This lasted for about 25 seconds, then all the TVs came back on. To this day, nobody knows what caused it or why it happened, but everybody believes it was the works of the devil.
Glad I wasn't around during that.
December 29, 1986, a California Highway Patrol officer named Craig Pyre drove his cruiser down Interstate 15 in San Diego, California. With him was an NBC News reporter filming a segment about highway travel safety that was set to air later that night. At around 4 a.m. the previous morning, a 20-year-old college student named Kara Knott had been found strangled to death in a creek right near the Mercy Road exit. And so as Officer Pyre passed by the Mercy Road exit and continued down Interstate 15, as they filmed, he began talking about the basics of highway travel safety.
Anything could happen. Being a female, you could be raped, robbed if you're a male, all the way to where you could be killed.
As this particular segment was filmed, Officer Pyre was looking ahead and he noticed there was a car pulled over on the shoulder of the highway with its hazards on. So he turned to the news crew and basically said, look, here's a chance for us to actually show what to do in case your car breaks down on the highway. Officer Pyre walked over to the passenger side door of this car and asked him to explain what happened to your car. The driver said he had run out of gas and then gotten stranded on the side of the road. And then he had left his car and walked to a gas station to get a gas can. Came all the way back, he put the gas into his car, but his car still wouldn't start. This driver is doing basically exactly what he shouldn't be doing, according to the safety tips Officer Pyre had given. And so on camera, he basically says to this guy, do you understand how dangerous it is to have left your car like that and walked alone on this highway? And the driver just kind of looked at him and shrugged like, yeah, I guess so. After that, Officer Pyre and the news crew wrapped up filming. They told him what time to expect his segment to air on NBC that night. And when Officer Pyre's actual segment aired on TV, there were a few people, when they watched this clip, that noticed something very specific. And within an hour of this clip airing on TV, those few people were calling the police in droves to tell them, we know what happened to Kara Knott. It would turn out all the clues the police needed to solve the Kara Knott murder case were right there in that 1.5-minute long video. Because what happened to Kara had almost happened to over 24 other women in San Diego. The other 24 women who encountered the same person, the killer. They were terrorized and tortured and held hostage for a couple of hours, but eventually were let go. But Kara wasn't. During her encounter, at some point, the killer clubbed her over the head and then strangled her to death with a rope. Now, the killer, at first, had gotten away with this until they were featured on that 1.5-minute long video. And some of those women who had survived their attack, they're watching the segment and suddenly their attacker is on TV. And so put that all together and they thought, boom, that's the person who killed Kara Knott. And sure enough, the police would follow up on these tips and they would confirm that the man in the video was Kara's killer. And Kara's killer was none other than Officer Craig Pyre. Officer Pyre was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison.
I was the officer. That was a plot twist. You give him safety tips, but he was doing those things himself.
What did Buzz Aldrin see in Antarctica? Let's rewind. So in 2016, a satellite got an image of what experts believed to be a huge pyramid in Antarctica. Now, if this was in fact a pyramid, it would be the largest pyramid ever found on Earth. Bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was about 230 meters wide. This pyramid in Antarctica would be 2,000 meters wide. Now, apparently in 2016, Buzz Aldrin and a crew got together and went to Antarctica to explore and check out this colossal pyramid. They wanted to see it for themselves. But this is where it gets crazy. While on the expedition, Buzz Aldrin suffered a heart attack. He was hospitalized for days. But when he fully recovered and left the hospital, he tweeted something strange, but then quickly deleted it. It said, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself." Now what the hell he talking about? Cause I don't want to find out. Someone close to Buzz said they had a talk with him and he said this.
Buzz did say one thing. He just said, we thought out things we shouldn't. And I went, what do you mean by that?
Come on, man. What did they find? Was it aliens, a Nephilim giant, other humans? If it is a pyramid, who built it and what was living in it?
You got contact with aliens, bro?
Yo, what's up? These are Kids That Killed, Part 5. Today on our list, Erin Campbell. On July 2nd, 2018, 6-year-old Alicia McPhail was nowhere to be found throughout her house. Her parents searched her room, the living room, and every other part of the house, but she could not be found. But the crazy thing was her bicycle was still parked out on the curb, so she couldn't have gone far. I mean, she was only 6 years old and didn't have a habit of running away, so her parents began to worry. But it turns out that this 16-year-old psychopath Erin Campbell had actually contacted Alicia's dad the night before trying to buy some drugs. And when he went to pick him up and Alicia's dad wouldn't answer, he snuck inside the home, grabbed Alicia while she was sleeping, and kidnapped her. Alicia then woke up while she was being carried around by her kidnapper, and he told her that she had nothing to worry about and that he was a friend of her father's and he was going to get her home safely. But that was far from the truth. It'd be shortly after the young girl woke up that the 16-year-old would move on to brutally beat this young 3-foot-tall 6-year-old girl. It wouldn't be until the morning after this incident where the parents and neighbors would have a search party going out to look for the young girl, and they would find her dumped in a woodland area about 15 minutes away from their home with over 117 different injuries on her body. It was said that they found trace evidence of semen on this girl's body, and it was even claimed by forensics that she was beaten long after she had already died. It was later found out by the police during an investigation that Aaron Campbell was the one who committed these horrific acts on this young girl, and at the age of 20, when he was in prison already, he actually got beat and his front tooth went through the top of his lip. Sorry, Aaron, but you got what was coming to you.
This family was last seen in 2022, but have never been seen since. Hello, true crimers. This is the case of the Bernstein family. Viewer discretion is advised. Pictured here in the middle is 33-year-old mother Abigail Bernstein. Pictured here with her two sons, 11-year-old Kowakai Bernstein and 8-year-old Kush Bernstein. So this case originates on the island of Oahu, specifically in Honolulu. Abigail had allegedly met a man online and they planned to take a year-long trip, a boat trip. In October of 2022, Abigail and her two children were last seen here at the Alawai Boat Harbor in Honolulu, Hawaii. The identity of the man that she met and was going on this trip with, I don't think has been made public. I can't, even the FBI, website doesn't have any information on him. But what the FBI has stated is that the boat returned in 2023. I'm assuming that means with the man, but again, I'm not 100% sure. What is sure, however, is that Abigail and her two sons were not on that boat. This entire family has not been seen since they left that boat dock in 2022. Once they were reported missing, the FBI becomes involved, and the FBI would find out that Abigail and her two kids were living a very nomadic lifestyle. They completely cut off, or Abigail did, cut off all communications with her family. So it was literally just her and the two kids. Her two sons were not enrolled in school at the time of their disappearance. Neither of the two kids, or Abigail especially, had a cell phone. They cut off their cell phone before they left. And again, I have to assume that this man they went with was questioned and talked to. I don't know what, if they did, I don't know what he said. It's very strange because the FBI is saying that they don't have any evidence of foul play. However, they cannot rule foul play out. They just don't have proof of it. And most importantly, they don't have this entire family. Where did they go? Some believe that they, could have just started a new life somewhere on another island. Abigail had connections not only to Oahu, but also on the Big Island. She also had connections to people in Naples, Florida, Petoskey, Michigan, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I can only assume that they have investigated those angles as well. The hope is that they are just living off the grid somewhere. And if it was just Abigail, they would probably not be pushing this as hard because, she's a 33-plus-year-old adult. But there are two children involved here, and there is concern for their well-being, not necessarily because of Abigail, just because nobody knows where they are or what they're doing, but somebody out there has to have seen them. And as badly as Abigail may not want to be found, people just need to know where these kids are at. Someone somewhere out there knows the truth, and perhaps that someone is you. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Abigail Bernstein or her two sons, please contact the Honolulu, Hawaii FBI office at 808-673-2719.
She sound like she just vanished. She trying to live off the
She
grid.
ate a poisonous cake that was left at her doorstep. 17-year-old Ana Neves was from Brazil, and she was described as a quiet girl who had a few close friends. Secretly, one of Anna's best friends was actually jealous of her, and she was planning something sinister. On May 30th of 2025, a guy delivered a package with a cake inside to Anna's home. Anna wasn't home at the time, so her sister took in the package. Anna arrived home later that evening around 6 p.m. and her sister was so excited to show her this cake because it had a note that said, "A treat for the most beautiful girl I've ever seen." Anna was flattered because she believed this was from a secret admirer, and as she was eating this cake, she had no idea that that was a big mistake. Less than an hour after eating that cake, she started to vomit violently and have severe diarrhea. The following day, her symptoms got worse and her father rushed her to the hospital. Medical staff told her that she had food poisoning, so she was given medicine and hooked up to an IV drip, and slowly she started to get better. Soon she was discharged and sent home because it seemed like she was back to normal. But later that day, once she was home, she fell on her bathroom floor and suffered a cardiac arrest. Once emergency services arrived to her home, she had passed away. Anna's family was trying to figure out how this could have even happened to her, and that's when Anna's sister remembered that there was a strange guy who had dropped off this delivery. Her family contacted the police and they were able to determine that this cake was bought at a local pastry shop named Menina Trufa. Owner of the shop spoke with police and she stated that an order was made for this cake and that an unknown delivery guy from an app had picked it up and delivered it. Police tracked down the guy who delivered this cake and he was able to get the address of the person who ordered this cake, and it ended up being Anna's best friend. That friend was brought in for questioning, and at first she denied everything and stated that she had nothing to do with her friend's death, but after hours of questioning with the police, she admitted to everything and stated that she had laced the cake with arsenic that she had bought online for $11.50. She stated that she only meant to scare Anna and didn't mean to harm her at all. She ended up stating that she did this to someone else by sending them a poisonous cake as well because 2 of her boyfriends left her for this girl. This other victim became extremely ill, but fortunately she survived. This friend was sent to a young offenders institution and her identity is currently being hidden and there is no updates on any kind of sentencing.
Sometimes, man, your friends aren't your friends. Sad fact. She was jealous of her friend, so she sent her that cake. Jealous, she'll drive you to do some.
This is a
dark
true
things.
horrifying story of Hamdan School in Uganda. This school is an Islamic boarding school for girls. It was donated by one of the royal family members of Dubai 22 years ago. This story was submitted by Afra, an Arabic girl back in 2009 was a student at this high school. She knew that the school was haunted and that there was a graveyard right behind the school. And she heard rumors of many incidents where girls were possessed by jinns. But everything else about the school seems fine, because it's one of the most successful Islamic boarding schools in that region. But that does not deny the fact that jinns may live inside the school. Afra experienced something, and being in her 30s today, this one incident will always haunt her. Afra had a mutual friend that was a student in that same school. She was regularly possessed by one jinn. Out of all the religious students, she was one of the very few that didn't really care about the Islamic education. She always used to party, drink, hangs out with guys, and the jinn that used to possess her was surprisingly a Muslim. He was just furious that she used to disobey her family and her religion. They brought her to one of the halls in the school and they started a ruqya session. Afra was there witnessing the whole thing. After many attempts of trying to make this jinn speak, he finally responded. I am possessing this girl because she disobeys. I will not leave until she changes. They were all shocked and they proceed with the recitation. The moment they stop, just for a few seconds, the possessed girl stares at Afra. Who is this girl? Why is she very quiet? She is very pretty, very nice, but I cannot go near her. Afra froze in her place. She felt numb all around and she was not able to move a single muscle. The Imam was intrigued, so he asks the jinn, why can't you go near her? What is stopping you? It was a back and forth questioning. The jinn kept saying, I can't. Why can't you? Until it responded. There is someone in front of her with light. What does that mean? They ask. There is someone in front of her with light. I can't go near her. They couldn't interpret what this was exactly. It could have been the veil of light from the Adhkar. But regardless, Afra will never forget the demon's eyes staring deep into her soul, wanting to possess her.
Man, got schools in front of freaking graveyards, houses in front of graveyards. That just seemed like that's just bad energy, man. Gotta try to mix with you. Stay away from that. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video. Comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.